Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Dysfunctional Talks. I am your host, Tristan, and this is going to be new for us, and we've never done a podcast before. We're a young six-person indie studio with, let's be honest, five members. And what do you call it? We are decided to do a podcast, and I'm going to throw it over to Connell. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Connell. I am an aged gamer, as they say.
Yeah, that's fair. And then throw it over to Jonathan.
Hello, I am Jonathan. I am not an age gamer, and I am a game design student.
Pretty accurate. And finally, William.
I'm William. I'm the ginger one.
Yeah, well, that does.
I'm getting that diversity out soon.
Yeah, so we've got loads of things to talk about tonight. Basically, we're going to bring up different discussions. We have different segments for each of us. Very passionate people, especially about video games. Some of us have, some might say, hot takes, but we'll find that out later in the episode. Yeah, so starting off with, we will go into our first segment, which is called Three-Piece News. So we will. And I think the first thing we should talk about this week, especially in video game related stuff, is the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, big release.
What a shit show on every single angle, let's be honest.
Yeah.
William, me and you had talked about it before. What do you think? What are you thinking about the Suicide Squad? The whole debacle?
I don't. In terms of story, I don't get a story, but I think the story's all right for what the game is, and it just looks very generic. There's so many looter shooters, and so many have done it better. It just seems like oversaturated genre, and like for a full price AAA game, I don't think it's worth the price. But it seems fun. I've heard good things about it. I'd probably get it if it's like reduced price, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's definitely like a title at the minute anyway that's gonna be bad. It's reduced in price, but to be fair, the main complaint I've seen for the game in general is like it's spitting on the Arkham franchise, which I don't agree with in the least, considering they were trying to innovate the franchise and finish it all in one. But
yeah,
you mean Suicide Squad was trying to innovate the franchise?
Well, yeah, because like the Arkham franchise itself is literally all four technically are stealth-based Batman games, but like expanding the universe to properly include the Justice League when they were just Easter eggs in every Arkham game, to actually make them bosses in a narrative that hasn't really been explored besides like Injustice. I thought it was really good. The biggest thing I've seen a lot of like the preview plays is saying the story's phenomenal. The Justice League members themselves during the segments they enter and are phenomenal. And like the Suicide Squad themselves are really fleshed out well as their characters. Like King Shark feels like King Shark. His entire like voice acting persona is like Drax from Guardians. It fits him really well. Captain Boomerang and Deadshot are done really well. They actually even throw a nod to the fact that Deadshot originally in the Arkham games was white, and they actually noted that they properly Lloyd is meant to be the individual that he is in the game, and they poked that out, which I found was pretty good. But I feel like a lot of the people are spitting on the game. The game is always praised as a looter. I feel like the hate's a wee bit over the top, considering it's been in development for what, like 5 years or something like that, and they've never not once advertised it as what it was.
Yeah, it's been very inconsistent, the advertising, especially from what I've seen. Like, but I would say too, like the thing that I think the most outrageous is about the whole disrespecting Kevin Conroy's Batman. Obviously, Kevin Conroy passed away was last year, I think.
Yeah. I'll be getting into spoilers, so.
Yeah, well, I think that's the other thing I'm really laughing about. The title of the game is called Suicide Killed the Justice League.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to kill the Justice. Like, Jonathan, did you ever play the Arkham games? Actually,
I did not, but I know a wee bit of it just from watching videos and whatnot. But I know a lot about the how like they built the characters up in it.
Yeah. Like you see, like how they built the characters in those games, and like without spoiling Arkham Knight, I feel like Arkham Knight did a good job ending that story.
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's the main issue people have with the game, the fact that they've just brought in this new narrative, which also just sticks itself onto the side for no reason.
I feel like it was just done as marketing. It's in the Arkhamverse.
But to be fair, even if you 100% the game in Nightfall is an act, and you get that ending in Arkham Knight, you know for a fact Batman's not over, and then like, you know, from a Universal perspective, which what DC does best, like the universe never ends. There's always the like, even the MMO DC game done a good job of like showing like every city around, you know, the DC universe. So like showing like the Justice League as proper villains and showing that they didn't, you know, they weren't done, I thought was brilliant. But I think a lot of the hate as well additionally comes from the fact that Gotham Knights was really subpar.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
very similar game type.
It
I
yeah,
think I think that or not Eidos, Warner Bros. Montreal, isn't it? We make
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
they made it.
Montreal and
They
Rocksteady.
they seem like they're getting the shit end of that Warner Bros. Deal stick, because the fact is that they were like clearly Arkham. You know, there was rumors about them doing a Suicide Squad before, and it got handed to Rocksteady. Obviously, we don't know if any of that's true, but everybody wanted, I think, Rocksteady to start to make a Superman game.
Superman and Flash were like the big things you
Yeah,
see
I've
everywhere.
read reports that that was never on the table. They never pitched that. What they
Yeah.
did pitch was a Damian Wayne game, which
Yeah.
sounded awesome, but we didn't get that, so we got what we got. But also to make it clear to the audience and stuff who's listening, none of us have played Suicide Squad. This discussion is more about the controversy around it. But I would argue that it's not really spoilers, but obviously I don't want to spoil the game with people who are looking to play it. I just think that saying a lot of outcry for disrespecting characters and stuff. I think the whole point is to disrespect characters if you're from the point of the Suicide Squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
The
the
thing
Suicide
is as
Squad is
well.
disrespectful.
The thing is as well, like Kevin Conroy read the script that didn't, you know, have any distasteness towards the franchise.
Yeah.
Even, you know,
Yeah.
he was a very outspoken individual as a voice actor. Like a lot of, if he had an issue, he would have said something.
Yeah, he's very selective
You know?
about his
Yeah.
Batman roles as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like, yeah,
100%.
he would have been.
So I
He
think he
would have
liked
been
that.
very selective with it. Yeah, well, that's fair. Even in the did Jonathan?
It just seems like a weird ending. Even with his like approval, it just seems like a weird way to end the series. If that's where they're going with the ending, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's what their intentions are, to just end it there.
Yeah, I feel
Just
like
really
this is
brought that
the end of the Arkhamverse officially.
because I don't
Is
know
it
if you guys
actually?
saw. Like, did you guys see that they brought out a I'm not sure if it's a DLC or just an add-on, but that like Joker cosmetic, or if it's an entirely different character. They just brought that on.
Yeah,
It was
I've
here
seen
today,
it.
or they're bringing that on soon.
Yeah, I've seen
Well,
it.
Joker's definitely dead in that franchise. So you've got the two most
Spoilers.
prominent characters.
You never
Apologies
know.
for those that
We'll
don't
put the
play it.
tag. We'll put the tag in.
For those that
Were they?
haven't played Arkham City, Joker does unfortunately perish. And they done a really good job, I thought, in Arkham Knight, in having him there without having him there was really good. But you know, a lot of the DC continuity with Batman in general, because I've Batman's my favorite super you know anti-hero type person. I follow most media's. Generally, when one's done, they reboot, get a new actor, voice actor, or version of him in, and do a good job again. You know, Batman's not perfect in every continuity, but from a game perspective, I feel like they've delivered quite well in what they've shown them in every aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially playing the other games and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to talk about that more. Like we can continue, but I feel like we've covered it, or our thoughts
Yeah.
on it pretty clearly.
I think we have
We
our
all seem to
thoughts.
be in
Yeah.
agreement of the outcry is a bit over exaggerated.
Yeah.
But I think there's serious issues with that game, especially monetization.
Yeah.
Jonathan, like, have you seen the UI of the UI designers?
Oh god, yeah, that UI is so horrible.
Like,
There's like a famous
I saw
screenshot.
so
Yeah, I think you
man.
may have seen the
I
screenshot.
yeah, I saw that and went, Jonathan must be just curling up in his body right now.
Like I think someone said to me, I just like, what am I looking at? What is anything on that screen?
Well, it reminded me of and now people are probably gonna know my thoughts on this game. I was made up a Fortnite a few months ago, and the UI confused the shit out of me. I'm just gonna be honest, like I was like, what is going on here? But then you see like kids who are 10 years old, you know, doing the
Yeah,
same
it's
stuff in
just
Fortnite, so I don't
not
know what
made
I'm
for
on
your
about.
age range, so.
Definitely not made for my age range, no. Yeah, so I'll move on to the next topic then. So the next topic is going to be the rumors that are circulating around Microsoft at the moment, especially with all the layoffs and stuff going on. And I'm actually going to bring in one of the emails we got. It's from Jamie Stewart. Hi, all, big fan of the podcast. Was wondering about your thoughts on Xbox's possible decision of going multi-platform. So that's in reference to recently there's been leaks about Xbox and the heads of having meetings about sales projections for Game Pass and how it's unsustainable without going multi-platform. They're not happy with the sales numbers. And there's been big talks of games like Starfield, Halo, Gears of War coming to PlayStation and Switch as well, or like Nintendo platform,
Yeah.
whatever the next console may be. And what do you guys think about that multi-platform thing?
And I
I'm
think
all for it.
yeah, I think it's good for games to be in everybody can access to a game.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of studios and a lot of like exclusives suffer from like the exclusivity stuff because I feel like a lot of game franchises and like IPs will suffer like a lack of sales to get sequels. Good example, me and the guys were talking about earlier, Days Gone. Like the developer of that was like, if you want a sequel, buy the game on release, which a lot of people only really got the experience of the game when it went free on PSN, which was a
Oh, yes,
shame
it was
because the
playing
game, the game's, the game's phenomenal, and having a better method of like, because I've never played the Gears games. Gears has been a series I've always wanted to play, but never.
Oh, they're very fun.
Yeah,
I've
they're
never
very
had
fun.
an Xbox console, so I'll be very excited if that happens. I'll get to enjoy them for the first time.
Yeah, then like
This was,
imagine like Game Pass coming to PlayStation and Switch. That'd be like even just great for everybody.
that is to me Xbox's like goal. They
Yeah.
need to get that on. But what makes me worried about this, and my thought on this is, it gives Sony way too much power
Yeah, that's
in the
fair.
fact that they will remain exclusive, and I don't want that. I want them to have competition with them to push themselves. But given Xbox's output of exclusives, and like we had Hi-Fi Rush, which is a game that I've touched on and I love. I heard there's rumors coming to PS5. I'm just going to wait now because that's my preferred console choice. Well, it was until mine broke. A different story. Yeah. But in regards to like, multi-platform, I am also thinking. You think about this percentage difference that Sony makes on games. You sell a game on their platform, they get 30% cut. Game on Xbox, same on Switch. That's how it works. Would Microsoft then implement more microtransactions to games on Game Pass if it were only on PlayStation, so they would recoup that money?
I feel like it'll be a higher cut because you'll have the Microsoft cut and then you'll have the PlayStation cuts. Like, say, if you want a Game Pass game on PlayStation,
Yeah,
I assume Sony want to
I'm
cut
more
and
talking
Microsoft.
about those exclusives Microsoft would fund. So not like third-party Game Pass games, but like your Halos, your Gears of War. Do you think microtransactions will come into that more?
I mean,
I think
probably.
the older ones, no, but I can definitely see like the modern consoles feature a lot of kids that just buy it for the sake of it. Cool, so
I mean,
it's
Yeah, they're the
yeah.
prime consumers at this point.
it's a good possibility. In all honesty,
Like Halo
I think
Infinite's
we
a good
could all.
example.
Yeah, that's a game that's a the live service, which I'm not a fan of whatsoever. I think, and like we heard recently too about Sony has cut their live service target from 10 games to I think it was down to 6 or something, and there's a lot of internal struggle. And then plus with like layoff, like Microsoft finally got the AKP Activision King Blizzard deal put through, and then laid off employees,
Yeah.
and then canceled Blizzard's game that had been developed for 6 years, which was apparently a Minecraft meets Rust. Like as someone who's not the biggest fan of Blizzard games, like I'm not really thinking like that's too much of a loss. But like
Yeah, I
there,
agree.
I don't think there's ever a chance that Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass now, given this reports, because Call of Duty sells like buckets.
Yeah, they're really their main profit is Warzone, so they'll probably put like something about Warzone there, or like advertise Warzone, or put something like that.
Yeah. Well, is Warzone not free to play?
Yeah, it is, but like the microtransactions in it and stuff like that, all
Yes,
the
yes,
bonus
there's all the
content in it.
microtransaction stuff in it. Yeah.
Uh,
No. Well, I suppose that's a fair point there.
Like I can see them
The
doing like you get a free skin and free weapons, whatever, if you get a 3 Game Pass or something like that.
what would be your guys like? I'll pass it to you first, Connor. What would be a game like you would think came to PlayStation because obviously you've been PlayStation most of your life? What would be a game on Xbox that you like? Oh, I want to play that so badly.
that for me, it's split between probably Crackdown or Gears. I would say because Crackdown looked unreal back when I was in school. I had a friend who was a very big passionate Xbox gamer back in the day when the console wars meant a thing before PC was like prominent.
Yeah.
every time I would bring up like, you know, Killzone and stuff, he'd be like, "Oh, we have Crackdown, we have like Gear." He was a big Halo fan, but for Halo, but Gears in terms of like the survival looked really fun for me because I love zombies. Gears probably more, but Crackdown because I do love my
Your open world collectathon.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, love them games.
Yeah. Jonathan, what about you? What would be a dream Xbox game? I suppose you're a PC player primarily, so if there's an Xbox game, you kind of can play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I normally, like when I was younger, I played a lot on the Xbox 360, so I got to experience like a few small ones. Big one was Happy Wars, and I was really happy when they brought that to PC when I played it for like 10 hours. But aside
Happy
from
Wars?
that, really, yeah, it's like I'm trying
Classic
to describe it
game.
the best way.
Classic game.
It was
right there.
so good. Like it was basically like you just do like it's not even turn-based combat. You get like your own armies and you bring them in and you take the other's objectives.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
right,
just
okay.
the art style is just so goofy, it's so funny. So when they brought that out, but it was so good when you're younger, and then immediately you see it like on another console when you're older, and you're like, it's just lots of magic, you know?
Yeah. I know it's a lot of like I remember the big deal when Halo Combat Evolved came out and they had the New York style. People said it lost that atmosphere and stuff. So in fairness to before Phase made that, like you could reverse the graphics back, you know, to the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
William, what about you? Is there any Xbox? I know obviously you're a PC player as well. Any Xbox
I kind of grew up with
game you-
Xbox. Like, I got an Xbox 360 and then one. I kind of played all the Xbox games I needed to at the time. There's not
Oh,
really
you were
none.
that other person that bought a one.
Yeah. I was the other side.
You and Jamie, and once he hears this, he'll be raging. So I've just called him out for that one. For me, a dream game, and I wish it gets remastered. And Connell, you would play this with me. Hironobu Sakaguchi, director, Miss Walker Studios. Lost Odyssey was an exclusive
Oh
to
yeah.
Xbox 360. It was one of the few Japan games, and
I
I
can
have
Yeah.
played it.
You've just reminded me about one other game.
I actually just think you reminded me of another game as well.
We'll go through it real quick. What was the other games go?
Colin,
So the way I love Final Fantasy and stuff, Blue Dragon.
Oh yes, the other Miss Walker game.
Yeah, the Blue Dragon.
That's cool because it's Akira Toriyama's art style mixed with Hironobu Sakaguchi's directing style, which I quite like.
Loved watching walkthroughs on YouTube back when they were like the big thing back in the day of Blue Dragon. I always wanted to play it.
We're not allowed to talk about Let's Players around me right now. So sensitive about someone. Other recent Let's Player who's really let me down, and he shall not be named on this podcast. That's 15 years of my childhood gone. What about you? What was the game?
actually, the game I never played, now I really want to, is the Fable series. They have Fable 1 on Steam, but I'd love to play Fable 2 and 3. Even though 3 looks bad, it just looks fun.
It was a fun game. It was a big thing.
Yeah.
I remember Fable 2 was one of the
I know, like,
they're
making Fable 4, they released a teaser trailer for it, but I'd love, like, if the trilogy was on more platforms.
Playground Studios, Playground Games, sorry, is the one making it, who are the developers of the Forza Horizon series.
Oh, yeah.
They are the ones actually in development with that. And that's funny, that was a brilliant trailer. And I actually remember the outrage about how the character looked, and people were like, oh, making these woke video game characters. That was very funny to me, so it was just people getting mad about stupid stuff. Yeah, well, I think we've covered that topic pretty well. Now we're going to move into the final section of three-piece news, and for the audience, the other guys don't know what this is, but I don't think it'll be a segment that we do constantly. But if I find it something interesting, I'll talk about it, and that is Wrestle Talk. I need to talk about this whole situation with wrestling, WWE specifically, these past few weeks.
There it is.
Well, looks like it's me and you, Tristan.
Yeah, William's the only one that will defend me. But I can't wrap my head around it. If people don't know what I'm on about in wrestling at the moment, we were all expecting a wrestler called Cody Rhodes to face against the current champion, who's been a champion for over 1,000 days, Roman Reigns, at WrestleMania this April.
So upsetting.
And we were all set for it. And then the worst possible thing, in my opinion, could happen was The Rock showed up, and apparently now he is facing Roman Reigns in this championship match. And the whole internet exploded. I think We Want Cody was training for 72 hours online. There's fans. There was one funny one that I saw was like, You know, like people holding like different part of a sign. It was like "We want," and the last guy held Cody upside down, which made me laugh. Like he had one job and he messed that up live on TV. And they keep like even the US network, WWE US network on YouTube channel, it uploaded a video saying crowd chants Rocky sucks. The commentators acknowledge that by saying, "What is this 1996?" Like it confuses me. What do you? I suppose you guys don't really know, but William, do you think this is real? I don't know if they're going to go through with it or they're going to
I
backtrack or
mean,
this is a
with
mark. And for people that don't know, a mark is basically it is part of the story. Like they're doing it to rile fans up and get more views and stuff.
I mean, it
The
seems like
fan
he's never
hunger.
going to finish this story, I'll be honest. He's been like trying to finish this story
Oh.
for like a year or two now.
The finish of the story, as me and William both know, is Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty Rhodes, had never became the champion of WWE,
So
and the whole
sad.
thing of his storyline is come back and finishing the story, being the champion, and he deserves it. Like it's just the next that he deserves it, and it's just a topic.
He's been saying it for a year now.
I've been on this hype train for ages, and you know I'm going to my very first wrestling match thanks to my thanks to Jimmy for buying tickets for me and David. And we're going to go see in April, and Cody Rhodes will be there. I'm so excited. I think that's like a week before WrestleMania too.
Yeah,
So,
it is. Yeah.
I'll be very. Oh yes, William, you're going as well, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're very excited. But that was just the segment I wanted to rant about. I was more like I want answers, but I know no one here can help me.
I mean, let's just hope
It was
that
just,
it's not the same as like The Rock in the movies where he can't lose a fight. Like if he wins the championship and leaves
he's in his
again,
contract,
like
and he's part of TKO now. He's like a board member in that, and him and Triple H are obviously best buddies. And one thing I'll bring up very quickly, we are not discussing Vince McMahon. I am not going down that road in this podcast.
I don't think this is the situation for it.
So, the next segment we're going to discuss, and this will be Jonathan. This is Jonathan's segment, and it's called Skill Issue. And Jonathan is a passionate gamer, punishes himself, I would say.
Yeah.
And sometimes doesn't read descriptions when he buys game on Steam.
Yep.
And Jonathan, you want to discuss your first game you're bringing to Skill Issue and how it made you feel. Go ahead.
Yep. And before you start anything else, I did not make that issue. It was another person who shall not be named who made that issue.
The devs done that, not me. I'm standing up.
Ah, yes.
devs. Listen, it's not my fault. Why did they combine two games into one on Steam? So
you were meant to read it before you gave it to me.
Didn't have to read what I already knew.
Dude, it's a good deal.
You clearly didn't know enough.
It's a good deal with any other context other than you need achievements.
Yeah.
Like getting 2 games from one is really good deal.
I know, but the thing is, okay, so for context, before going any further, this game is Digimon Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition.
Ooh.
And the Complete Edition, the developers thought, we have a game and a backstory and 2 sets of achievements. So, let's just smush it all together. And because it's on Steam, they put the entire roster of achievements both together, which I believe is a total of 103. And because we had a challenge on where we challenged each other, I don't even know why I got this game in the first place. Because I think, what was the context? Like, we were all given games beforehand, and then something happened, and then we were given an additional game on top of it.
Yeah, somebody may have hit your account.
I think so, yeah, but you had that in your library. And for context, I have played both these games. I'm a very big Digimon fan from back in the time on TV. Loved the game that he played because I'm very big into like RPGs and stuff. I was like, he enjoyed Persona. I was like, he'll enjoy this. So my initial thought is the original game is like, I think 50 achievements, about 60 hours.
I would say so, yeah.
So 60 hours in, all of our limit was around like 50, 60 hours. I had like Tsushima to do. Because that was I had something. I had one, which I had Wonderful 101, which was like a very difficult platinum game, but it glitched on me, so I got it swapped to Ghost. So I was around the same playtime, but what they did was the Digimon game split in 2 games. Cool. But they combined the 2 into 1 as a complete edition, but I didn't realize the achievements weren't separated. So this led to Johnny's painstaking 130 odd hours. Pretty sure it was.
Whoa, we're going to confirm this. We're going to confirm this. We're going any further.
I'm gonna get the official numbers.
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's
yes.
130 something.
Can we confirm with you also, Jonathan, that Skill Issue was born of Digimon Cyber Sleuth?
Oh yes, I
Definitely
was
was.
cursing about
It was
that game for
created.
ages. I still have not let that go.
The rage from this one
well, that was
game.
months ago now.
This is October. This is October.
October.
Yeah, it
oh my
was
god, is that
from
when we first started
October,
talking about doing the podcast?
I think
Jesus.
so.
Yeah.
But that was from late October until early December because I was juggling both the best game that I was given that year, God of War 2018. Such a great game, cast in the fucking Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Both made you
Like a newborn child trying to swim.
The
like a love-hate
important part is,
relationship.
No,
what
no.
was it about the game that you didn't like?
So what should I start with?
Laundry
Well,
list.
there's no game until an hour and a half in. And I'm not talking about
Probably my worst
I'm
nightmare.
not going to buy Persona where you just have to sit and listen to cutscenes and skip through it. No, I'm talking a full unskippable cutscene where you're in a chat room talking with a bunch of NPCs. I say chatting, you're just sitting watching people chat, and you're just like, what am I doing here? I can't even press A to skip through it. And then I think there's another 20 minutes of cutscenes before I go into the game, get one Digimon battle, whoopsie doopsie, I'm no longer in the Digimon world. I have to go and do a bunch of other side quests before I can actually sit down and catch Digimon. You know, the main purpose of the game. That's not even an issue with the achievements, that's just the general game itself. And that's like one of the worst parts about RPGs in general. They have to explain the story, but they explain the story and playing the game into two separate portions instead of combining them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and-
get that. Remember the old Metal Gear, like press X to do this, press the action button, Snake. You know, they
Yeah.
get blends it in with the story. Especially, we all know Metal Gear Solid 2.
Like an immersive tutorial just makes like the extra effort to make the game, a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They do it in one game, and then for the prequel, they look at it and like, players are taking a long time to get into the game. What if we just do it again? And they do another game, Hacker's Memory, which takes the same amount of time. And the only benefit is they give you a goddamn run feature, which you have to equip every time you enter a stage.
You have to equip to run.
You have to equip it?
Yeah. They give you a
to be
skill
fair-
menu after chapter 2.
I'm not playing this game.
I'm just clarifying this. This is still an issue with games today. You have to unlock running in Dying Light 2.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I think
it's an upgraded
he's
skill
right.
tree. It's an upgrade. Yeah, that's why I didn't complete it because it pissed
Oh
me
yeah,
off.
yeah. You have to get the sprint upgrade. Yeah, I remember.
You have to get the sprint
Well,
upgrade.
that wasn't in 1, though, was it? I
No,
played a
it
lot of
wasn't.
1.
It was in 2. It was in 2.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, they added that
Release.
feature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me and Johnny get 2 on release with like two other friends. Played the fuck out of it. Really enjoyed it. But then I realized, I was like, why can I not run? I'm just like slowly climbing everywhere. It was still fun. But then I noticed like tier 2 upgrades, sprint. I looked at it and I just closed the game and haven't touched it since. I haven't touched it since at a sourness.
That is mental. Like
Yep.
the
I think I
fact that
really want to actually finish that.
I didn't think I would hear
Oh.
the sentence. I needed to equip the run.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what was the hardest achievement for you?
You know what the hardest achievement was? The online section. You know, the game that is thriving with online activity. And it wasn't 1, it wasn't 2. You know what? Just while we're talking, I'm going to get the amount of online achievements they had. Hold on.
I remember this rant.
I don't even remember this. This is the first time hearing
You
about
bring
it.
up the rant now.
I thought it was single player.
We were watching anime while he was doing it. It was not bad.
Oh my god.
Okay, I need to look it up because it's not showing up for me here, so I need to actually look up their guide. Yeah, because they had online achievements in both games.
One wasn't
So
as bad.
Hackers
Wasn't that?
The only reason one wasn't as bad is because I did everything in the second one.
It carried over.
But the thing is, no, because I think I was sitting in call with you. I was like, oh, thank goodness this is over. I don't have to do any more. And then I saw there was one more achievement. And basically, the way it works is they have an online section, but because their like player base went down pretty quickly after the game started, they rectified it by making an AI feature So you basically fight NPCs.
Ooh.
Now that's dandy and all, except the NPCs are over-leveled and buffed. I got swept multiple times by Agumon and Gabumon. Now, they are champion level Pokemon. I brought in 3 Megas and I got swept in 1 turn.
You said Pokemon there?
Pokemon, Digimon, I prefer
He's
Pokemon.
He's thinking of a better game.
For context,
You're bringing an early 2000s debate up here, Bert.
I'm so sorry. What I meant to say was Pal World, but we'll not get into that.
Oh no.
Oh no. No, don't bring up Pal World.
For context, for people that don't know what Digimon, that's the equivalent of like Isis Pikachu beating legendaries with like max stats and level. Like
Yeah.
I was
My
sitting watching him stream this game because I do like the game. I still like it. I haven't achievement hunted it yet. I will stop. But he was having the equivalent of like 2 level 5 Pikachu with like 1 billion stats each when they shouldn't have, and they're literally doing AOE attacks that are one-shotting all his level 1. And the reaction I got was hilarious, I'll be honest. But on the bright side, as an achievement hunter, I think what they did was a good precedent, because I think a lot of companies should do that, have like a bot feature on their online feature of games,
Yeah.
because online trophies are such a gatekeep for a
I
lot
just
of
think we
people.
shouldn't have online trophies.
I think we shouldn't, but if it's an alternative, I'll take it.
The alternative is just not playing the game for me at this point. There's some great games that I really want to go back and platinum on PS3, like Binary Domains one. But do you know what you have to do for the platinum for that?
Well,
You have to unlock every single ability. You have to headshot with every single weapon, like 250 headshots. You have to. It's like the most exhaustive list. I think the game would actually take 10 hours to platinum if it was just the story, and it takes like 80 to 90 because of the multiplayer trophies.
it was
think
one of
there's
the
only, like, 6 of them.
reasons. It was one of the reasons why I never done the Assassin's Creed front.
Yeah, which I like the
Yeah.
remasters a lot because they take that shit out. Like, I don't get me wrong, the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, as we talked about before, is like very unique.
Yeah, I like it.
But I'm not a multiplayer guy. I played it a bit when I was younger, but it'll do me. The Digimon, is it co-op?
It's
Nope.
not co-op, it's just there's an online mode so people can actually battle the Digimons they collect. And speaking of
Oh,
which,
right,
I
yeah.
found the amount of achievements they have. So to start off with, they have a
Did you
coin
get every
shop.
single one?
I got every single one, and it took ages. I think
let
it took
people
an
know.
entire 8 hours to go through the entire section, and the only reason it got shortened is because they had a challenge online, which gave me a bonus based on how many consecutive wins I got, which itself was a nightmare. For example, you had to basically equip 3 Digimon with accessories, which you have to buy from the coin shop. That isn't too bad, but the fact is they have 1 for getting 1, and then 1 for getting 3. And I think the accessories went for about 100 gold per accessory, and winning an AI battle, it was either 20 coins or 50 coins. So 300 coins, 20 points per match on a win, mind you. So that's about 15 wins, which isn't too bad by itself. But then you had to go and buy a title, 10 titles to be exact, which costs, I don't know, another 600 coins. So another 600 coins on top of that, you know. So what are we on? 900 coins. And then if it says here how much the avatars cost, I can get the exact amount. Okay, they actually have an entire amount. You need 6,000 coins to get 20 avatars.
Oh, no.
6,000 coins, 20 coins per match on a win against an overpowered AI.
Oh,
I was
no.
literally praying at night that Conal would face hell, and never awaken from it.
I'll be honest.
That's what you put me through.
Listen, I just finished my hell grind, and it took like my hell grind has been done. I've rectified. I done 151 hours for one piece.
We will talk about that. What do you call it? That grind you just recently finished, and we'll talk about how you felt about it. The is there any closing thoughts, Jonathan, you want to say about Digimon?
Yes, sorry. There's one more. And you know what's so upsetting about it? You know how, like, when you get to the end of a game and you're at the very final bit, you're about to get all the achievements? Conal, you can remember this. I had one area where I was about to complete the game on the ending. I had to get 1 mission to get 1 item to max out my Digimon farms get all the achievements. Guess what? Out of what must have been 100 missions, that one glitched and never showed up my roster. So I had to do New Game Plus, start another game, sit through an hour and a half of cutscenes just to get that goddamn achievement and feel so unfulfilled about the platinum. I literally sat there in my chair. It's like I just sat through 2 hours of cutscenes. There was no build up. I had to do an entire story just to feel unfulfilled even more. God.
I think this segment is going to be one of the funnest ones we have.
Oh,
It's just
definitely.
seeing you have a meltdown.
But it's just, it's just a
Anyways.
skill issue. It's just a skill
Yeah,
issue.
skill issue.
Skill issue. One
best,
mom.
best segue ever. That'll bring us into our next segment, which is Connell. So, me and Connell are old men. Let's
Yep.
be honest.
Very.
True.
We remember games that these kids wouldn't dream of. And I know there's a few people who are going to be listening to this going, I remember. So, let's introduce Connell's segment. Connell?
The segment that I run would be I remember, whereas I would go over a lot of the older haven't really seen a release in over a decade. And for the first episode, I thought I'd talk about one of my favorite ones from the PlayStation 2 era, which last seen a release during the PS3, which is the Sly Cooper franchise. One of the more prominent stealth games during its time in the spotlight, contesting with Metal Gear and Hitman at the time, especially with the younger platformers were huge at that stage. You had Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Cooper as the three titans contesting.
The golden era, I would say, for
I
would definitely say that now. Yeah,
I would say that more than the N64 and stuff, to be honest.
The
I think that could be an argument there, but yeah, I'd say so.
The franchise itself spawns 4 games, from the first one being Sly Cooper and Kunis to Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. It done very unique things in my opinion. Bringing like the whole thief aspect and sort of like the classic like cat and mouse chase dynamic, along with secret backgrounds, along with actually having the threat of death in the game, especially when you're looking at a PS2 game and the very first scene you see the main character's parents get killed by a gang of like multiple criminals. The levels were brilliant. 3D environment I thought was well designed. And even like we'll bring it through. Each of the areas were based on an area around the world. Lighthouse, which was in the Snowy Mountains, which they did well. And they even transitioned that into a time-based zones in Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, where every level was based on a different time and era. Like level 1 was based on the Japanese era.
What level? What game is Thieves in Time? What
Thieves in Time's the 4th one, the last one they've released, and that was back in
the only
2013.
Yeah, that was the only 2013. That was the only one though that was not made by Sucker Punch.
I think so, yeah.
Because it was. I thought that studio.
The hype was really the hype was really big at the time because a year prior to the release of that game, they advertised the movie, and then the collection released 2 years before that, and the collection done brilliantly. I think it scored overall like 88, and the original 3 games each individually scored around 85 for its time. It hasn't seen a game go below 70. I think Thieves in Time's 75, but the game stands brilliantly. For me,
yeah,
1, 2, and 3 are probably a 6 out of 6. 4 is probably a 5.
Yeah.
But the thing was like the thing that I personally loved it as a child was being a lot of like media at the time. You were watching a lot of the 90s like X-Men shows and all. They done a lot of fourth wall breaking. Sly Cooper done that brilliantly. Instead of going, jump in this area, they always went like jump and hit the circle button, and they actually had that in the subtitles of the game where they would have the symbol correct buttons to press. I thought it was brilliant. Like they would literally tell you, jump and hit the circle button to like traverse up this like building or something. I thought it was brilliant. The villains were great.
Like that era of games. I just like thinking about the art style of Sly Cooper and stuff. You see a lot of that modern animation movies like have that very cel shaded visual. Like it's very bold colors.
Yeah.
I thought they done really well.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it in a positive way. Like like the recent Spider-Man movies.
Into the Spider-Verse,
yeah. Yeah, they have that flat cel shaded color. I actually haven't seen the movies myself yet, but I've seen the art obviously, And I think Sly Cooper, especially, like I would say, you go back and play those now, like they hold up graphically.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Like on PS2, you know, not even the HD collection.
Another thing, like I would think as well, is like what a lot of games would do now, especially like the AAA games, would be they would have like a lot of mini games. Like we'll take Ghost of Tsushima for example, where you have a lot of activities like the bamboo slicing and like the haikus. Like they're very good and interactive. That's a good premise of making side content in a game. Sly done it
Yeah.
very well. Where they had a lot of mini games like flying a plane, controlling an RC car. Even playing the other characters in the gang. Murray being the big hippo that was the muscle, or Bentley was the tech guy in the chair. Both of them played differently to Sly. One was like being loud and beating the crap out of the goons, while one was about using different gadgets and gizmos to help the crew. They all played independently, but they didn't feel like a chore compared to Sly's like get around steal tactic, and I thought they'd done that really well. But integrating like the different mini games, they were controlled well. Like even the RC car, like in some of the missions, played phenomenally. The controls were really well done. The plane in the third and fourth game, I believe the plane's in as well. No, it's the third game. The third game has like a flying section, and the plane controls in that game, in my opinion, were very good. Most of the
What
driving
would be the
sections.
comparison? The comparison I could think of for plane controls, which I remember being good. Don't know if they were. Was Wrath of Cortex on the PS2. Do you remember
Yeah,
the Apple things? I don't know if that game holds up though. I doubt it. Instead, called the next one Ratchet and Clank. No, Ratchet and Clank. Sorry, Crash Bandicoot 4. So
I
that Wrath of Cortex holds up too well.
Wrath of Cortex was the that was the one with the they had a crunch in that. What was the first one? Crunch was in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the Boulder boss fight and stuff. Where you're in the cave and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Um,
That was my first Crash game. But I'm thinking of more like there was a game on PlayStation 3 called Hawken, and it was a really good flying game. And I'm just trying to think, like a lot of games now, like even Assassin's Creed 2, for example, the bit near the end where you used Da Vinci's flying machine, like
oh yes.
it was
Yeah.
clunky. It was good, but it was very clunky. Whereas I thought Sucker Punch done a very good job of integrating the different styles of gameplay, even if it was for small sections. They done
Yeah.
a really good job, in my opinion.
Well, like with playing Ghost of Tsushima, you can tell like they understand. Like I would say they definitely used like a Ubisoft formula for open worlds,
Yeah,
but they refined it. They refined their stuff. You can probably point to a lot of similarities with their games about other contemporary games around the time that each releases. But like I would always find a problem with open worlds where I'm sure I'm not the only one, but you can't start that mini map to see
yeah.
where you're going. But with the wind mechanic, you're like, oh, I'll just watch the wind, and then you see all this beautiful vista, and they make it visually interesting. And no
These,
Sly Cooper Hut is like really good for using the collectibles to guide you. So you're
yeah.
collecting them anyway, so you're watching what's in front of you and stuff.
Another good
That's
thing
the
they had as well, I thought, all their missions were like spotlights. They were clearly marked out.
yeah,
So getting where you needed to go wasn't really a chore, like.
yeah, especially too. Like obviously, you think about the age range the game was trying to target at the time, which was kids and teenagers like out there. So the sightlines, as you said, for the level design needed to be clear, and then
Yeah,
but they also made
Yeah.
maybe that challenge for the players who want. I think that's like such a fine balance, like of making a kid game and game for kids. Sorry, obviously learning stuff, the controls, and adding those challenges for people who want to a harder experience but still want to enjoy the game. Like the recent Mario games have done that. The game's quite easy, and then it gives you these insane challenge runs. I haven't played Wonder yet, but I heard it does that very well.
yeah.
The new Mario game.
I feel like
Yeah.
the RPG franchise brought were quite difficult. I think a lot of the GameCube sort of around that era S games definitely a lot more challenging than a lot of modern games.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts on it, or
Well, as of right now, the last tidbit of Sly Cooper that we have seen is actually been in Ghost of Tsushima, where they have got an armor set in the game which pays homage to the legendary.
and there is a trophy for that as well.
Yep.
For getting that, I remember that well. Very fun platinum list until they added the multiplayer. Even though the multiplayer is good and I enjoyed it, the trophies are fucking mental. But yeah, so we are going to move on to our next section then, and that would be let's just take it back a bit, and we'll talk about the platinum bet. So for those of you who don't know, a platinum trophy is on PlayStation, and it's basically a trophy you get for completing a set list of objectives or challenges or beating a game. Some are easy, some are hard. Me and Connell have made this bet starting February to February, so we'll update every episode of the podcast monthly. Who can have the most platinums by the end? We've also got so we've based them on a rank system. So if you go to psnprofiles.com, that tells you there's some guides for certain games, and it'll tell you what difficulty they're out of. So if a game's 10 out of 10 difficulty, we get 5 points. If it's 8, it's 2 points. If it's 9, 3 points. Anything below 8 is 1 point. Any games that are 100% and they don't have a platinum trophy, because not all games require it, is half a point. We have already started, and we are both. I'm at 1.5 points, and Connell, you're at
2.
2 points. But Connell's not at 2 points.
Here we go.
Connell is trying to avoid.
And it begins.
Now, if you are into trophy hunting as much as me, and I know some people who will be listening are, there is a little known indie game that is, in my opinion, has ruined the PlayStation market, and especially trophy hunting. My name is Mayo. Connell is so desperate not to lose this bet. He went and got My Name is Mayo, and he has got a good trophy list already, right?
I do.
Right, and he got My Name is Mayo, and I'll be honest, he's trying to make it up to me by playing one of my favorite games next. I'm not bad at it. Yeah, which is Gravity Rush, folks. But we are having a debate amongst us ourselves, so we are. Shovelware games, should they count? And shovel games are those games that are basically a point and you can get the platinum within 20 seconds, 20 minutes, whatever.
I wouldn't count them. I don't want to lose my fucking steelbook. That's why I did it.
Yes,
But
on the line is Connell's steelbook for Bloodborne, which me and Connell, huge steelbook collectors for PlayStation games, and we both got some very nice ones. The other side of this bet is we've picked some games that we'll do, but Connell came up with this idea earlier of Jonathan and William
oh god,
picking one from every quarter. We have to complete. Now the limit is the game should be able to be completed within 3 months or 150 hours total challenge time.
Yep.
If you guys want to reveal what that game is, me and Connell do not know what this game is, and I regret letting Connell go ahead.
I'm sorry in advance, Tristan.
It's actually a game
this game also counts as 10 points if we do it. It doubles the points.
So I will say the rating is 9.5 when I can see.
Okay.
It's actually a game your franchise you both love.
It's going to be Metal Gear Survive.
It's Metal Gear Survive.
God damn it.
Connell, take your 10 points. I'm not playing that game.
Give me a minute. Hold on.
You don't want 10 whole points right now?
I don't want to play Metal Gear Survive.
You can both do the multiplayer stuff, right?
Yeah, we'll be the only two people that ever do it together.
Exactly, so easy achievements.
200 hours, lads. Repick that now. It's 200 hours.
We thought it was 100 hours. It depends. Yeah.
Your sources are fake art or real?
Yeah.
No, PSN profiles is what we use, so if it says 200 hours, not that is the time.
No, we saw 100 hours and other stuff and 150.
Use PSN profiles.
Yeah,
that's probably
PSN
people who have
profiles.
friends. We don't have friends.
Yeah. Hey, you saw each other. What do you mean?
I'm not playing with him, that game.
I'm hearing excuses
no
agreements.
I think a lot of excuses.
We will do Bang to the Basics.
Until he forgives me for buying.
You will not do Bang to the Basics. You shut your face. That will not take 150 hours.
That won't. That'll take longer.
Right. The Metal Gear Survive thing is on PSN profile. It does say over 200 hours.
It does.
That is what we're using the metric for the scoring system.
Well, then I think another obvious one, John, maybe you'll agree, is since we talked about it earlier, it has to be the Digimon.
Oh,
both? Yeah, obviously. You had to do both. Right? So your choice is Metal Gear Survive or both Digimon games.
Oh, so our choice is both Digimon games or Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah. I think that's a fair choice. What do you think, John?
Repent.
I Tristan, I owe him it. I have to pick Digimon. I own it.
Every tear
Yeah.
you shed, you need to put it in a vial so I can drink it once you're done.
So we
Okay.
now just want to make it clear we don't have to play this game, but if we want 10 points towards it, it is a big deal
I
to do
will
it.
I'll
Um,
do it. I'll do
So
it.
do you want to say
So
5
we will
points per
check back
game
in
then?
with it in
Yeah.
episode 4. We will come back to this, and we will then get our new quarterly game.
Then do you want to say there's
so-
like 2 games? Is it 5 points per game?
Whoever does them first.
Yeah,
So if
it'll
I
be-
do Cyber Sleuth and he does Hacker's Memory, we each get 5 then.
Alright.
So 10 points for both games since it's a double game. So on PlayStation, is the game's not separate, so why would we need to do that?
Because John did when he had to suffer, so you'll suffer like him.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. That's fair.
Right.
I own
This is
it.
mainly
I
Conan.
own
You're just the
it.
crossfire.
I
I'm
own
sorry. I'm
I
sorry,
own
man.
it. I own it.
That would wrap up Platinum Bats.
With the tier.
Should we actually say what our points are from though?
No, we don't need to really. Like, it's up to you if you want to. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and we'll just talk about it? We'll stay in Platinum Bats section for a bit. I'll go ahead and say what Platinums you've got so far.
Well, besides I Am Mayo, the 2 I've got so far is One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. I put 141 hours into that game over 7 years.
Do not mention your second game. Just wait.
I
just
know.
realized.
I just clicked on. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But that is my one. I put 7 years into that franchise. Well, yeah, more than 7 years, just because I played them all so far. It's a Dynasty One Piece game. Fantastic. The array of characters is brilliant. Like most Dynasty Warrior games, it is a huge grind. It has like I actually have the whole sheet here. I think it's something characters. Each with like a level 1 to 5 system, and to get the platinum, you have to level 5 them all. So it was just a case of doing specific missions with each of the characters over and over again until they're all level 5. Sort of at the last like month or so, I just got in a groove of just joining all with the boys, playing some music and just grinding it out. Finally have it done. 141 hours banked in.
And what is your next goal for Platinum?
Currently, I have started Dishonored 2. Big fan of the Dishonored franchise. I have 100%ed the first game. This is my first time playing the second game, and the other one, which I'm doing as both of I've never played it before and really want to actually try it. And sorry to Tristan for getting I Am Mayo, which is Gravity Rush.
Which is a phenomenal game that I love. Yeah, my ones would be so. I definitely recommend everybody check us out if you have a PlayStation account. It's £5. It's a small one-person made this game in Unreal Engine. It's called Echo Blade, and basically what it is you're a knight escaping a prison, but you're blind, and what sounds echo, and then it allows you to see. It's got some like puzzle elements. It's a very short platinum. It is it's very interesting, I would say. If I give my personal rating, I give it a 2 out of 6, which is good for me. I enjoyed it. Obviously, because it's not a full package. It does come off as like a proof of concept, which I think the concept is fantastic, and I would love to see it be expanded on. Also, the voice acting is quite fun. It's clearly only a few people did the voice acting. It gave me that early, like I don't know, remember Oblivion? You know, that early Oblivion vibe where it's like clearly a couple of voice actors doing all these characters.
Yeah.
It just gave me that kind of vibe. The half point I've got is from playing Far Cry Blood Dragon Classic Edition. This is my very first time ever playing it. Very fun game. Soundtrack really good. I enjoyed it a lot. The gunplay, I feel like Far Cry game. Once you get into the Far Cry game, start it feels very slow and clunky. But once you get into, you're like slide and weave and taking out bases. That Far Cry formula, and yeah, this story wasn't that interested. I like the characters more than the story itself. The tutorial was absolutely hilarious. I do have to mention that because that generally made me burst out laughing. And any game that allows me to press R3 and flip off something is just it's playable in my book, and I personally give that a 3 out of 6. So
Which means
Right,
what we'll never know. 3 out of 6
So
is
we
like
will discuss
all
that.
right.
We will discuss that later.
Maybe one day.
So,
Maybe one
moving
day.
on to the next section. This is William's section,
Yep.
and this is called William.
I'm not making this shit up. Where I've gotten a game story that is typically I go for games that are known for being really dumb stories or people don't even know they have stories, and I've really badly written it out. And it's up to these three. They can ask some questions and stuff to guess what the game is. And like all good stories, it starts from the dawn of time. where they have gods called keepers who created everything. These keepers create an artifact that allows them to travel in dimensions. Using this, they create two dimensions, a perfect one and an evil one, which is like the opposite. Half of the keepers want to be evil, half of them don't. Because of this, a war begins between them, and the good guys win and banish the evil ones in the evil dimension. Well, during the war, the evil ones created a giant pyramid that could give them unlimited power, which they didn't use, and stored on the moon. that is a key plot detail.
This is some stupid Destiny subplot.
Right.
This is a Destiny DLC if I've heard it.
So-
No, I don't even think it is. Keep going.
These evil keepers want to go back to the perfect dimension after years and years of being banished. They do this by going through Earth and teleporting from Earth. This plan invokes them sending a strange element to random places on the Earth, and then humans having to find it and opening the portal. The humans then do this, and a war breaks out, and the humans win. That's an important plot detail.
Okay.
Humans win. Original.
Later down the line,
Okay.
far later, two German scientists discover the element again and start experimenting with it.
Oh, I know what this is.
Uh-oh.
They create cool
Right.
technologies like teleportation,
If you know, don't say.
resurrection, stuff like that. Then they break into an argument where one of the person, I will call a mad scientist, wants to continue doing the experiments and the other scientist wants to stop him. After the argument stops, the other one leaves, and the mad scientist gets teleported to the moon, where he kills everybody on the moon space, igniting the pyramid, where he then throws the other scientist, his daughter, and their dog into it.
What the fuck? Is it?
I know exactly what this is.
You know what it is, don't
I
say
haven't a clue.
Jonathan, I don't either.
No,
You both don't have a clue.
Are you sure you're not making this shit up?
He's not. He's actually not.
Nothing like this.
because he threw those people into the pyramid, bad stuff now starts happening in Earth, and it causes a split in dimensions, where there's the bad dimension where everything went wrong, and the good dimension where he didn't do this. So now there's two versions of this mad scientist, the good version and an evil version. And only now we're done with the background and into the game.
So that's the start of that's the
That's
plot of the
that's
story.
background
That's just
information.
lore.
Okay.
I know exactly
So
what this is.
could I ask about genre of game?
FPS.
Okay.
Oh no, I was going to ask you if it's FPS. Is it Doom?
No.
No.
I'll keep going. I still
Doom was on my
I
mind.
still have a bit more. I'll go with that for now.
What the-
So, the leader of the Good Keepers hires the good version of the mad scientist, along with an American soldier, a Russian drunk, and a Japanese samurai to fix what happened. Let's call them the good guys. The good guys then go back in time to kill the evil mad scientist, which they do. In this, it is discovered that the evil keepers have an evil leader, literally called the Shadow Man. And a war breaks out between the good keepers and bad keepers again. After the war, the two German scientists, but this time the good versions of them, and the other good guys realize that they can't get back to their dimension after helping the good keepers, and are stuck in the one where everything's gone wrong due to the pyramid. So they travel even further back in time to try and fix what happened. When they travel back in time, they get sent to the medieval time period, where they realize they're the ones who started the initial invasion of Earth and have to save the Earth again. This creates a time loop, which is an unending cycle, which the game's plot is them trying to break. That is the story of this game.
I have one question.
Yes.
They want the scientists stop. They want the scientists what? Stop breaking or stop working?
Sorry? No.
Was there a broken watch? No.
It's a
Damn.
first-person shooter.
Yep.
Did it release within the past 10 years?
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
is it past? Yeah. No. Technically, yeah. It's a
It did,
franchise.
yeah.
Yeah.
It did,
I
yeah.
just need to remember. It's a franchise that has existed, but like the most recent release, which is the story I'm talking about, has released in the past 10 years.
Okay. And it's not Doom. Right, so Connell clearly knows what it is. Jonathan,
Yep.
me and you have no fucking clue, clearly. I really do
No,
think he's
I
gonna
know
pick it.
nothing about
I hope
time
you
travel
like
games like
my
this.
nice, accurate story of it, Connell.
I did. It was well done. It was the two scientists that landed me on it because then I put two and two together. Very well done. Very well done. Yeah.
Wolfenstein?
Nope, not Wolfenstein. I can give another clue,
It's got
but
every
it may.
it's got every single like plot device from every single first-person shooter ever.
Yeah. What are
If
they?
you're a lore junkie for
This
games,
is the
you'll know what
franchise.
this is.
Yeah, if you love just
Is it-
really
right.
dumb lore.
Is it a video game franchise first?
Yes.
Yes, it's value.
I am more confused now.
Uh,
I am more confused. I really thought it was like some Warhammer stuff.
it is
No,
okay.
I'm
I'll give it
I'm-
more. I'll give a more helpful clue here, since you seem to be stuck. It is a zombie game.
That
Is this the plot of Call of Duty Zombies?
Yes, it is. This is the plot of
What?
Call of Duty Zombies.
Yes,
why is
it
there
is.
time travel?
The two German scientists are Rick Toppin and Maxis.
Maxis.
The good guys
No.
are Tank Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takia.
You.
They fight
What?
the Shadow Man.
The only reason I guessed that is because you said zombies, and my first thought was
Call.
zombies have a
So,
that's
so
like,
the
that's
evil
it.
pyramid
What
on the moon. In Black Ops 1, there is a map called Moon where you're on the moon base and you have to open the pyramid.
Yeah, that's the Easter egg of the moon map.
Dude.
Don't
And
worry,
then you don't
none
find
of this
out
is explained to you. You have to do a really complicated, like way too complicated Easter eggs in
So it
every
is
single map.
Explain it in the website.
Sorry?
So it is Destiny to explain the story in the website.
No,
No,
we'll
it's
see.
all explained in game, just really,
Yeah.
really cryptic.
Jesus Christ. I think Dark Souls took lessons from that. What the fuck?
So I was gonna be Dark Souls 3 like Keeper, and then you mentioned time travel. I was like, oh,
I could have
Did
made
they do
this.
that?
I actually held back because Black Ops 4 I didn't include, which actually added even more dimensions
Oh,
and even more
yeah.
characters. And I
And
thought,
the Crusade.
Right.
Don't
I-
forget about the Crusade.
oh yeah, they had a massive crusade in time, but we won't. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Right. That was.
why?
I have one other.
Well done. I like that. I like that a lot. I very much appreciate that.
I have one other game franchise, and we still have time. This one's
We
much
still do
shorter.
have time. Right, we can go with this one. We still have time. That's pretty fun. We'll go.
So this game is set in England. A company is contracted to do military experiments to make soldiers. Something goes wrong in the experiments, and the corporation gets destroyed. Hours later, the same thing happens, but this time disrupting a peace protest outside of a military company. This then spreads to all of London. Desperate to contain it, a cyber-enhanced scientist and the British government is sending in a group of soldiers, SAS, and police officers to fight back against it.
What the fuck? Is that it?
Yeah, that's the plot.
Is it it an
Okay.
RPG?
No.
Is this another FPS?
Yes.
Is it
I think
immersive
I
sim?
might know just from watching a trailer of another game.
Is it an immersive sim?
No,
It's not the SX then. I don't know why.
it's not the SX.
Is it Watch Dogs
It's-
Legion?
No.
What did happen to Legion?
Well,
I
Watch
don't
Dogs
know,
really
like,
changed.
I didn't play the game.
Well, you're pretty spot on. Yeah.
It's not Detroit becomes human, is it?
Nope. It is
Um,
not
no.
Detroit.
Is it a franchise? Is it a franchise?
Yes, it is a franchise.
Okay. I want to say, but also I don't know if I'm gonna go right.
That's
Well,
the
what is the
thing.
game?
Again, I guess I'll do the genre. It may spoil it a little bit, especially for John. It is another zombie game.
Killing Floor 2.
Should I say
It is
that?
Killing Floor, yes. This is the plot
Yes,
of Killing Floor.
I wasn't
good,
sure I was
very
like
good.
Killing Floor 1 or 2.
I decided this time to go with both zombie games, so.
Very
To make
good.
this section more fun, because I think it is, we should do a point system. So, Connell, since you knew what the game was,
Yeah,
I'll
John
give you
knew the
1
second
point for
round.
the first
Yeah.
section. Wait,
The only reason I knew is because we watched that like trailer.
Yeah,
I was
if I
like,
didn't show you
damn,
the
that's
trailer,
crazy.
You would have no
Imagine I did that
idea.
for the other two games.
at the end
Like
of that roundup, I'm not making this shit up. Connell 1, Jonathan 1, and Tristan 0. Even though he's the one who said both names, it just did not
But
think of it
they,
quick enough.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll change the
So,
genres.
Very good. Well done.
It was
Very
very
good.
good. I really
Very,
enjoyed
very
that.
nice.
Really like that. Really like that.
So we're gonna go into the next section, and this is my section.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Now, just for the audience, some people say that I have quote unquote hot take
Oh no.
about video games, media, literature,
Life.
anything.
Everything.
I'm a life, yeah.
Literally anything.
Sure. Life has a hot take about me. Let's be honest.
Sure.
It saw this guy and went, nope. The this section is called Tristan's hot takes, where I tell the guys before there are three choices about a media, anything in entertainment that I feel passionate about that they think that the majority of people or themselves think is a hot take where they disagree strongly with it. And this section is basically me defending this IP, this game, book, movie, whatever it is, and they have to rebuttal and give me reasons, and I have to give them reasons why. It's basically them mobbing up on me and stomping my ass.
Yep.
Yep.
Is the goal they have to do. Now,
Yep. Yep.
I would argue they've never succeeded in this.
Of
They've
course.
Eh.
also never done it on a podcast, which makes me more nervous.
Of course. Of course you would
No.
say that.
Now you'll have the audience gang up on you too.
Yeah.
True.
Tristan's first. Oh, there's going to be some people commenting and share below about this one. My first hot take of our Dysfunktional Talks, episode 001, is Resident Evil 6 is the best Resident Evil game.
I'll just say
Hands
for
down.
context, this is like in terms of review and public opinion, most people would see this as the worst in the franchise. I think it's reviewed as worst. Well, maybe some of the spin-off games. I think mainline games it's reviewed as the worst.
Mainline, yes.
Okay.
Maybe,
So
yeah.
that's the context behind why it's such a hot
Right.
take.
First off,
Also, can I
for-
point out one more thing?
Yeah.
go ahead.
Anybody listen to this, Google the logo for RE6 and tell me that it's not a woman sucking off a drop. I haven't done that. Because that is 100%
You'll
what it is, and I
unsee
can't-
it.
Ever since someone told me that, I can't unsee it, and I still love it.
And then you thought to bring it over to us.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
could
Ruin our
you?
image of it.
I
Okay,
know I did
so
tell you guys that.
You ruined our image of a ruined game. How could
You
Let
wanted
me
us to
have it.
defend this game, but you made us oppose it.
Yeah. Let me defend Resident Evil 6. Give me your best shot.
Quick time
for
events.
context first, William, Jonathan, have you played every entry in the main game Resident Evil
I
franchise?
have played
A fair few of them.
Yeah, I
Mainline,
played a
yes.
good few of them. Yeah.
I have played them as well. One of my favorite platinum experiences was 5. 5 is my favorite of the franchise.
That's a
The
hot
only
take,
two.
I know.
That's a hot take in itself, to be fair.
That is a
Yeah,
hot
yeah, I'm
take.
not standing on that.
That's a
but-
sizzling take.
But the two, I have partly played 7 and I haven't touched Village. But I have played 1, 2, 3, 4. Originally on the GameCube, haven't played the remake. Played 5, played a bit of 6 on release. Jonathan's a really big horror fan, as is Will, pretty
Yep.
sure.
Yep. Yee.
So my opinion is 5 got the co-op system right, but Resident Evil took a more direct actiony approach, which for me didn't suit it after trudging through Africa with Chris and Sheva.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Right. So what the thing there is, I would point out immediately, is it's well documented and known that Sheva was added very late in development. It was supposed to be a solo adventure with Chris in Africa. More action still. It was definitely supposed to be an action game based on the reception that they got from Resident Evil 4. And myself, I have played every single Resident Evil game. The only one I haven't beat is 8. But I have played every single one, and I'm a huge fan. I don't think there's a week I don't go wearing my 25th anniversary hat.
Yeah, true. This is true.
But
Very true.
what I would say is Sheva was added obviously because of the impact and the time it came out, and Gears of War was very popular, and the co-op shooter was very popular.
Yep.
My argument is that people's main issue with Resident Evil 6 is that it's an action game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do agree with that sentiment, yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. But what I would say is, from someone who's been playing Resident Evil all his life, Resident Evil's been going action route since 2. And you
It still has horror elements. You can't.
Yeah,
And
and
3
there's
has
a
Mr.
main
X.
theme of
3
isolation as well.
3 has.
yeah,
you
what
know,
6 has.
I
So,
does
6
not have.
split up, for those who don't know, 6 is split up in this 4 different campaigns. You have Leon with Helena. You have Chris with Pearson.
Is it
Don't,
Pierce,
even, don't even remember.
Yeah. You have Jake with
Sherry.
Harry.
Mr.
And you
Junior.
have Edith, right? Ada was a DLC, one added later.
Ada's just a
which is
solo
PS4.
leader.
True.
Yeah, which I recommend for anybody playing the game. Don't play hers first, play hers last. Each of those sections are an homage to each era of Resident Evil. So they are. And each one performs incredibly, and I think is the final combination. The first, you're talking about that original Resident Evil and the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 and 4. To a certain extent, maybe not 4, but it holds that horror element.
Yeah, I still say 4,
The
still horror.
Intro,
I would say
Yeah.
4 banks on it because of like the isolation in that village. That's
Yeah,
why I still
you have
consider
the
it 4.
village, you have the lake, you have bits of the castle.
Yeah.
but if you look at it, in the front three, one we had the mansion, the fucking classic mansion. Then in 2 we expanded it. We had the police station and the outer city a wee bit. 3
Yeah.
we had the entire Raccoon City. 4 we had an entire village. 5 we had the entire continent of Africa. We went across it. And 6 is the world. It naturally escalated.
Globetrotters.
Yeah, it naturally escalated to that position, and the Leon's campaign pays homage to the original games in the slow starting pace of the game. The action builds and builds naturally like the series did. Obviously, Chris' campaign is a nod to the more action side. For me, the thing about the game is that it just plays so well once you get used to the controls.
That's once you get used to the controls. Initially, it
No, because-
plays terribly.
Yeah.
No, it's well, it's the same with any game. You have to get used to the controls in order to get the most out of it. You're telling me like playing the Devil May Cry game, you're gonna be fantastic at it instantly.
It's not going to be fantastic, but it's going to be. You want a
Yeah.
game where it's easy
Yeah.
to
You
pick
can
up.
you can manage.
Yeah, you can
Yeah, but
manage.
you can manage.
without-
You can play the entire game without doing all the cool contextual combos, kills, and stuff. You can do that easily. And like, I think we can all agree at the end of a Resident Evil game, there should be a rocket launcher there.
Yeah, something needs to be blown up at the end of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind
you
of.
need to blow up. You need to blow up that giant monster. And I remember the first time playing 6, and I was like, "This game is fantastic." And you keep killing the boss. He comes back, killing the boss. He comes back like that classic Resident Evil way. And I finally killed him, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way this game isn't going to end on the rocket launcher." And you walk up that high pod, and you just see it sitting there. And I just went, "This game is a masterpiece in my eyes." Just the fact that there isn't. It is like it's like the end of an era for Resident Evil. And then we got 7. I love 7 so much. I think 7's fantastic. Going back to the pure base of 1. You know what I mean? More than
Yeah,
anything.
but that's sort of what I was going to come into.
Yeah.
So you were talking earlier about how 1 through 6 expand the region to worldwide in 6. If it works so well as a formula, why was there intention for 7 to go back into a small isolated location again?
And even the
It
spin-off
seems-
games.
Where do you want? What do you do after 6 games? Do you just go right space next? Let's fuck it.
Well, not
No, you
space, but there were still a
actually-
bunch of continents they
Yeah,
could have
but you-
explored. They took me to bloody
but
little
you-
Louisiana.
Yeah, no, they take it back to basics. You bring it back. People, obviously massive reception, and like we're talking about sales wise and stuff. It's like one of the top selling Capcom games in the top 10 definitely. We did this research like weeks ago. We were talking about this, but yeah, I get that 7, but like I said, 6 is the end of an era. You start again, and now we're getting this like collision of. I think it really depends on what 9 is, because
Yeah.
from what I've heard, 8 becomes very action heavy.
It does towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, without spoiling it, I just heard that's what I've heard, and that for me is the direction it seems to always pivot towards, and people like it. And maybe that people just didn't like the balance of it, but for me, the balance of 6's action and horror was brilliant, and the enemy models and character designs and the animations and the attention to detail in the city. Yeah, that's. I think it's understandable that after doing a world devastating disaster, I think it's more interesting, like because it continues the story and stuff. Like it's not like they act like 6 doesn't exist.
Oh
It
yeah,
happened.
true. Yeah, you get
Yeah,
like the story
spoilers,
is
but
full
yeah.
on continued. Yes, well, that's not. I'm not spoiling the story. The
Yeah.
actual stuff, but like they continue the story, and I think that's so interesting because you're like, well, I'm with all these new people. Like, where's Chris? Where's Leon? Like we still haven't seen spoilers for this, but we still haven't seen Leon in the timeline.
No, I think it's just.
What was the most?
Is it
what
just
was like the?
Chris?
Is he like the late scene one in like that time span? Because I'm not too sure if it's between
Yeah.
him or Rebecca.
No,
Was
it might be
Rebecca in 5 or 6?
No, Rebecca was not. I don't think so.
Because she's had cameos
Yeah.
in films and other mediums, but I
Was
don't
she
think I've seen her in
in
any of the main lines.
She wasn't in
spin-off?
5.
Was she in
No,
spin-offs
she wasn't in
though?
5.
Was
Yeah,
she in
but
any of the spin-offs?
the spin-offs are in they're in 4. They're all before 7 still. There's been no one after 7.
Speaking of spin-offs, another point of like even people back then they were wanting a more contained Resident Evil because if you think at the time, I think maybe a little bit later, is it Chronicles Revelation, the one on the boat came out.
Revelations.
Yes.
But like
Chill.
that, I'm pretty sure that was really well received. I played it myself. It's one of my favorite games actually in the series on the boat.
See, the original Revelations released on DS, on 3DS, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I get the reception of that, but if we're talking mainline games, and I get that you're saying
but
about
it shows that like people wanted a more contained Resident Evil game because it did so
it did, but
well.
if you go back and play Revelations, which I think a lot of people haven't played in a while, which is understandable, came out years ago, but it is actually quite action heavy, and not in a fun way because it's like an in between 3 and 4 combat. The original, obviously, I'm talking about not the remake.
Yeah,
It's very stiff dancing. 6 is fluid, fast. Like 5 is like a bit better than 4 in my opinion, but I think Leon's moveset's funner. And then 6 Chris Redfield just plays like a freaking dream. You feel like a bull, like a soldier, taking down enemies. The
Drugged up
contextual-
soldier, aye.
Yeah, like what I mean. Like you feel like you're punching boulders and you're lifting them, and like the classic Chris Redfield. But yeah, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for like
oh definitely.
the most. But I do really think that it is the culmination of the franchise, and especially to that point, you have to think about the time it comes out and stuff. And you're saying about the Resident Evil continuing in a different path, but it seems to be that pivoting back. You know what I mean?
When did
Yeah.
RE6 come out? Was it 2013 or 14?
2012.
2012.
2012.
Yeah, that's another point. When it came out, I believe the FPS craze, like the shooter action craze, was dying down because it got so oversaturated from the late 2000s.
Oh yes.
And that was another massive point of
2012.
contention because it was so overdone and it's just another game like that in a massive slog of them.
Yeah, well, like in 2012, the Call of Duty came out in 2012 was
Black Ops 2, the best one.
which wouldn't be my opinion on the Call of Duty franchise, but I don't think my opinion on the best Call of Duty game would be contentious though.
Like Modern Warfare
It'd be
2,
Modern
Call
Warfare
of
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just the one I started with, you know what I mean?
Oh well, who would have guessed?
World of War would be a close second, which I'm definitely thinking about replaying.
Usually the zombies in COD games, obviously just after the story, amazing.
Oh, I'm not playing them now after that story.
that not intrigue you?
No, it did not. It confused the hell out of me.
Don't worry, I think I got it wrong
That
a bunch
you
of
and Connell
places.
have actually played that.
What? Sorry.
It sickens me that you guys have actually played that Easter egg hunt just to get that crazy ass.
I legit grew up. I grew up on COD Zombies. I've been playing it since World of War released.
Yeah,
God.
And if you think about that release, and I would have been.
I mean, they got better. Like the worst one in my opinion, but the funnest map for me was Ascension. But for me, I thought it had the worst Easter egg because it was
throwing
very
the
glitchy.
portals outside. Yeah, it would always debug out.
Yeah, but they definitely fine tuned it and made it a lot better and a lot easier, along with the audio cues and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely say, and just in some closing thoughts I have on Resident Evil 6. We were talking earlier about Suicide Squad, and William, you had said that you don't see the value for money.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 6 has got content, and good quality content. It has the classic mercenary mode where you can play for every single character. The bonuses, the combos, the rewards are also fun. You get the classic rewards in video games, like concept art, character models, all that stuff. There's no you get costumes. There's no bullshit with that game when it comes to the content. You get what you pay for, and you get it freaking good. You know what I mean?
There's actually one other thing I want to bring up.
Sorry, if any of you have any last ditch grenades to throw at me.
I was gonna throw one.
I got one. In that game,
I'm happy to hear you've got one.
The cutscenes, the QTEs in that game are insane. There are so many You are not allowed
Yeah.
to rest, and they are so fast,
Oh, yeah.
and you have to rewatch those
Yeah.
cutscenes over and over again just if you miss a millisecond.
Yeah. So, can I just ask a question quickly?
Yes.
Any of us like Yakuza in this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Yakuza.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah. Yakuza doesn't have quick time events during cutscenes, right?
Not as abundant as RE6, and not as bad, and it's still acceptable.
And God of
Playing the
War.
UK series, they are definitely abundant. Exactly. QTs are definitely a remnant. I personally love them because I think it just keeps you engaged in this, thing. They can be quite fun. They can be dramatic. Like if we're talking about a game that just nails QTs, Azura's Wrath.
I guess, yeah.
I thought
I can agree with that, yeah.
phenomenal. I really liked it.
Oh, brilliant! But I think Resident, I obviously at the time you have to think about limitations and stuff. They couldn't have done certain things, and that's why they used QTs. It was the same for why they used QTs for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Especially if you play that game on the Wii, Jesus Christ, the amount of QTs.
I know. It's painful.
Yeah, but the Resident Evil 6 uses those QTs for beautiful cinematography, beautiful action. Like one of the very first ones is you're Leon and Helena, is fighting a zombie, and you're trying to fly a helicopter, and you have to try and aim the QT perfectly in order to shoot him. You get a few chances. It continues the scene if you fail the first time. It adds additional stuff. Like, so they thought about repercussions for players missing. There's one where you have to pull up, and you just like it does this amazing slow mo shot where you're scraping against a train and everything's chaotic zombies. I think the QTs are brilliantly done, but I could understand. Yeah. I could definitely agree that there may be too many for some people if you're not a big QT fan.
Yeah. It's
But
like
I think it would
there's
be an
no
example of a
resting
game that
time.
does them well. Yeah, there's no rest in between time. For me, it's just pausing the game. After the cutscene, it would be usually my rest time.
I feel like the game
Jonathan,
itself should
you
have
want to
it.
hit me with the? Yeah, that is. Well, you can pause during cutscenes,
Yeah.
Johan, definitely. Jonathan, you want to throw your last shots at me?
Yeah,
No,
so
bleeding
this is
man.
in the context of I didn't know about 6 until after I had played 2 Remake. And this is going into the idea, this is just spoilers as well, of Sherry. So the entire point of Jerry in 2 was to say that she was scientist's daughter, got infected, got cures, bada bing, bada boom, and basically everyone thought she'd be gone. And then in 6 they bring her back, not only as a character but a playable character, and you're like, wow, continuity, let's go. Only for her to, and I think you know the scene I'm talking about, where she falls out of, it was either a plane or a helicopter, and gets a giant shard in her back, and they say, okay, pull it out, I have regenerative powers. And that's the last bit of it as far as I'm aware. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like the last time they bring that up as a power thing. There's no improvement on it.
Right, but what I would say is Resident Evil, the remake universe is different.
But don't they do like the same thing in the original game? Like, isn't she still infected at some point? No?
She isn't, no. So in the original game, the Sherry segments aren't, from what I remember, they're more expensive and stuff, but I don't think we should get on the topic about 2 remake because I'll get annoyed.
That's for another day.
That's another hot take.
Yeah, fuck that game sometimes, honestly. It just gets its own way constantly. 3 was a better remake, and that's my last point on that.
That's a hot take right
That's
there.
another episode.
Yeah, no.
Save that for another episode.
Yeah, we'll save that for next episode. My closing thoughts on Resident Evil 6 is that I think it's one of the superbest action games I've played, and I hope I've convinced some people to play it. I really think just to check it out. Not that it needs any more sales, but for those who, and some people in my personal life that would definitely can't wait for this section for you guys to rip me a new one. I'm sure we're gonna get some comments below about that. So yeah, that was the closing arguments for Tristan's hot takes. So next topic of discussion is, as a group, we decided, I think it was December last year, to start a monthly.
It was roughly,
Yeah.
Due to, let's be honest, just me and delays, we are starting in February instead. We cancelled the first game we originally picked. No one else wanted to play it anyway, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And we have started the game club starting in February, which is William's game.
Dusk.
Some rules for the game club. You don't have to 100% it, but me and Connell likely will for the platinum bet. And if you lose, whoever picked the game for that month, so we have got a list of games we're going to do every month, or a list of one game per month, that someone has picked, and we've already planned that out ahead of time. That person who picked this game for the month gets to punish the person who didn't beat the game.
Yep.
It's a really fun segment if you beat the game. Unfortunately for me, I'm the only one out of us that never beat the game till this month. And the first game that we're talking about this month, and I can't talk about it, I haven't beat it. Yeah, is called Dusk. So this is a first-person retro FPS in the style of, I think it would agree, Doom and Turok.
Yeah, a Quake, definitely Quake.
Yeah. Oh no, it
Quake,
definitely takes after Quake.
Yeah, I would say UI and stuff. I would think more Turok just because obviously we all know how I feel about Turok.
Yep.
The one, I'm gonna pass it to Connell first and about his thoughts on Doom Dusk. He had platinumed Dusk, and to take him through it, we'll go through his experience first with that game.
I am so split down the middle about this game. From a casual playthrough perspective, fantastic game. There's brilliant homage to the original Doom. The theme of the game's like, the whole cultist theme and the wacky redneck theme is brilliant. Loved it, loved the environments, the level, was very effective. Every path sort of led back into each other. It was brilliant. But from a completionist sort of standpoint, I fucking hated this game. I fucking hate collectathons. I would rather grind hours in a game, which One Piece is homage to that. I fucking hate the premise of collectibles. One of the biggest factors in this game is you have to get completionist on all 33 levels of the game, being 10 chapters in each episode of the game, along with a secret level in chapter. And within that, you have to get every collectible in the level that randomizes. I think the most one level had was 10. Along with that, you have to kill every single enemy on that stage. Fucking killing enemies is collectible. It's fucking stupid. It is fucking stupid.
A lot of skill issue here, are we?
Yeah.
Fucking having to go through the... See, this is the one thing that... The one thing that was a saving grace in this game was going back to the levels wasn't a challenge. You could go back from any point in any level because you could jump with like the heavy weapons. That was fine. It's finding the fucking enemies, especially considering some of them are little rats that you can't fucking miss. There was a level I spent 10 minutes going through 4 fucking times. And I just went, fuck it, I'm going on doing the rest of the levels to find out the last 3 enemies were hidden behind a fake fucking door to finish the level anyway. I was so fucking pissed at this. So from a fucking platinum standpoint, and go fuck itself. It genuinely can. I'd rather play Metal Gear Survive than game again. But
You'd
from a
probably
casual...
rather play My Name is Mao too, wouldn't you?
I'll fucking do the Mayo franchise before I do Dusk again. But
wow, you heard it here, folks. My Name is Mao is a better game than Dusk.
but from like a normal player standpoint, game is a fucking 6 out of 6. Platinum aspect, a fucking 2 out of 6.
Oh, still good then. That's good.
Yeah, obviously that's obviously what 2 means. If you think of it 2 out of 6, that's obviously just good. Nobody would think that's bad.
William,
just give me grinding levels. I've played Pokemon for years. I've been adapting this shit. Don't give me fucking shitty collectibles. Fuck off.
William, you picked the game for this month, so it's your turn.
The reason I just
you
love
played
this
Dusk
game.
before, right?
Yeah, I did my second playthrough.
This seemed more like you wanted just to share a game you liked with us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was kind of the point as well.
Yeah, that's good.
The reason I'm going to use the official now. I think it's on Steam now. The genre name, Boomer Shooter. It's definitely the best I've played. I love the art style behind it, the visuals, the levels. Yeah, the music is amazing.
Of it.
That's like the OST's so good.
I've been for people just to know, I've been listening to the soundtrack all week while working, and I've been texting William saying this is better than Doom 2016 to me. It is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
If you love just metal soundtracks, 100% give it a listen.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, maybe this is me, but it gives me like Disturbed, Linkin Park vibes. It's just pure,
so good
for people that grew up around our age and stuff. Just pure perfection. It's just awesome. I couldn't say enough about the soundtrack.
Another thing I love, which you and Connell may not get as much, definitely on PC, the movement in that game is so smooth. And then,
I can vouch that
and then
is so
in the game, you
good.
can, well, at least PC, you can B-hop, where if you strafe, like using A or D, and then
for
jump.
bunny hopping, yes.
Yeah,
we can do that too.
But you get so fast, you complete levels in less than 30 seconds, and it's so satisfying to just master the movement and speedrun through the levels. It is so fun just to try and get better at that game and get faster and more efficient at the levels. Like in terms of beating it, that's what I find the most fun part. I don't go down the collect path. I go down the try and beat the game like speedrun path. And if you love doing that in games, Dusk is 100% amazing. Like you can go so fast b-hopping, you can just start going up walls.
Oh Jesus! There's like a layer of depth I haven't got to yet.
Yeah.
I'll go next as the person who hasn't actually beat the game because I want someone who has this closing thoughts. I did not beat the game. Just didn't. There's no excuse. Sometimes you just don't beat games. I will beat it. I'm going to platinum definitely because I'm still enjoying playing it. Like I said about before, the soundtrack is phenomenal. Weapons, Jesus, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
I did get a couple of the endless mode trophies today. I think I got them all actually, and just having fun with weapons. Didn't even know there was a crossbow in the game until I played that mode. Crossbow was amazingly fun. I like the art style, the graphics. The problems I have with the game seem to get more and more the deeper into the levels I get. The visual navigation and sightlines for that, I would say, are truly terrible.
I would agree that level design, it could be really hard to find out where you have to go sometimes.
And let's be honest,
Yeah.
we're all developers here, so we're all game developers, and like we know how hard it is to make game stuff, and we're not putting it down or anything. And I'm very level design be a weakness in my skill set, but I think certain items need to stand out more, like especially health. They have like just like the grey box, but like the green on it, like why not just make that fully green?
It is very
little
dull.
simple things like that. Yeah, but I think I was thinking would that ruin the art style?
Well, here's the thing.
think
I
it
don't
would.
know if it's in the PlayStation version. At least on Steam, they released an update called the HD Dusk.
We didn't get that. We didn't get that.
But
No,
at least
that's
on
the PS5 it's coming out.
at least on PC, I think if they do that in the HD version, they make it a lot more clear
Okay, well,
and stuff.
that just based off the version that me and Connell playing.
Yeah, obviously,
they
it's still a complaint of the original game that
they released a very funny trailer. I don't know if anyone's seen this for Dusk on PS5, where they just took the Switch trailer and like the entire trailer and just photoshopped poorly a PS5 controller over it, and it was so fun. And they put that up on the official PlayStation YouTube channel. It was very funny.
I need to look that up.
So, Jonathan, as someone who, like, for some reason decided he wanted to play this in one of the hardest difficulties, just to challenge himself.
Okay.
Do you want to give your closing thoughts? Since you're such a pro.
So listen. First of all, there needs to be some context for this. So that, I got told yesterday about this challenge. I got told, oh, by the way, if you don't complete this by tomorrow, we're choosing the game for you to play. And then I heard Digimon, and I shit myself. And but the thing is, I was already, because Tristan, you can vouch for this. I was already doing research on other Doomer shooter games, so I was like, I'm doing them anyways. I'll do this as well. Going from that transfer and just coming in midway after 2 weeks of not playing, no idea where I'm going, and the navigation fucking me up. There was an area I was stuck in for about 10 minutes, and then I had to I didn't say it, but I skimmed and looked at the tutorial.
I was watching you play. I saw you stop, and I heard the video playing in your headphones.
Because I have to go and it's like, I do that there the entire time, you fucking dick, will you?
Yep, I was watching you and I was just laughing, just kept missing very obvious things.
Yeah. But basically what everyone else has said, the movement was great, the design was great, audio was great. The one thing that I can say is there's like a shift in gameplay at some points. Like there was a few levels where you just have a bunch of enemies coming in small swarms, like attacking you in like maybe groups of 3 or 4. And then you go into one level, you come through a door, there are 80 enemies in one area waiting for you, and they're all firing at the same time.
Which I think is the best level in the game. I would argue because it's the combination of all your skills at that point. Because that's like near the end of the chapter. think that's
Elimination.
2 missions away from the end.
Yes.
It's
That's
literally
the
just like
reactor one, yeah.
pretty much just like a gauntlet sort of level. But it's so I just love exploring that level. There's so many secrets in that level as well.
I think one other thing that I had an issue for that game was it's very disorienting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It for me playing it on console. Now I grew up with like consoles in general. I didn't get my first PC about 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
God, I am bloody old.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
It was
Oldie.
a lot.
Old
Same age, Tristan.
Yeah, for now until
For now.
February.
Who's going in the home
Playing them on.
first?
I won't make it to home.
For me and William were talking about this the other night, which was he's
Oh.
stuff, but for he's used to like things like b-hop and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
wasn't,
Yeah.
but what Dusk does, which I think it is a good feature, is a lot of the time you can get flipped up in the air. The game auto like aligns you,
Yeah.
but
I know
because
that's
like
brilliant.
even in water or like falling and or like going down like certain like steep points, it just found for me anyway it was thing where you just randomly just I don't know.
The roll.
For me
Yeah,
personally,
disorienting
it was very disorienting, you know.
Yeah.
Also, can we just talk about? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Justin, go on.
No, continue. Sorry.
I was just going to mention that this game has to have the most amount of least durable flashlights I have ever seen.
You got
The
like
flashlight breaks
6
4 or 5
flashlights?
times,
Yeah, you
6
got a lot.
times during the entire game.
Most flashlights
and
are
used in
well.
the most stupid places.
I generally never turn the flashlight on.
Later in the game, there's actually
You're gonna have to.
it's kind of spoilers, but in the game there's an enemy that is invisible. But if you have the flashlight on, it flickers.
I didn't notice that. I
Oh.
just noticed the bloody
That's the
footprints.
invisible enemy, right?
Yeah, I didn't know until
So-
William told me. I was like, really?
So if you have your flashlight on at all times, you can use that as a way to detect them before you can even hear them.
No, I just had the heart attacks every time the show showed up. It's sweet.
My favorite enemies are like those ones as well.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
I think that it was a great game, and especially as Jonathan had said about earlier, we're talking about UI. As we have announced on our social media at Studio Dysfunk on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, we have announced our project, or what we have been working on called Odyssey's End, the retro FPS. Dusk has obviously helped us a lot. We've took design elements and stuff, and ideas from it. And it's a great game in general. I recommend a lot of people play. And the problem for me, unfortunately, for Dusk was just I didn't beat it. So that unfortunately means that William gets to decide my punishment.
But he
So,
has.
William, what is the game
So-
or punishment, if any? It doesn't have to be a game; it could be just a punishment. But let's see what he
I
got.
think
Go
you're
ahead.
gonna. It's a game. Don't worry, it's a game.
It
We
is.
asked you earlier.
I'm more worried.
We asked you earlier for a hint that if you have a PS3, but you said you do.
I do.
You're playing the Sly Cooper trilogy,
Let's go.
and you're platinuming them, all 3.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say this because I've done 2 of them. They're not difficult.
I know they're not because I've actually lent them off, like I've mentioned JB before, and I will have to lend them off him again because he has got the
Collectathon.
collection.
Collectathon. Really fun collectathon.
So that ends for the game club, and we will tune in next month for the next game, which Connell has picked, and we will reveal it on that episode.
Ah.
So that brings us to one of our final sections coming up is called Quandaries, Quizzes, and Quips, because I think I'm funny making up names.
Yep.
So this is basically our email section, and it's been very kind, and I really appreciate. People have sent in emails already, just friends, family members, just to show us a bit of support, and really appreciate it. David Preston has emailed in, and we read Jimmy's earlier because I think it came into the news and we were talking about it, so I thought I'd bring that into the conversation. So, David Preston wrote in a question, and he's just hitting us with the hard one straight away. First episode, he doesn't care. What's your favorite game of all time?
Ooh. I have.
And you know what? I'm going to go first,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this will build up an episode of Hot Takes. I'm pretty sure it's The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, that's an hot take episode. I'm not going to get into like. I'm not going to get into
We're not,
that now.
we're not allowed to bash each other's
No,
games.
no.
Just quickly, what's your favorite game of all time?
I have different favorite games depending on the genre. That's the weird thing. I would never like if I wanted. Depending on the genre, like between multiplayer games, Team Fortress 2, single player games, Borderlands 2.
That's They're different but similar. You know what I mean? They're obviously FPS, but like they're really
They
good.
both have like deep mechanics that you can learn. Every characters, the multiple characters, each of them unique, ton of depth. Very fun to like learn about. Like I have 2,000 hours in Team Fortress 3, and I still have not learned everything. And I would still say I'm like all right at the game. There's so much to learn in that game.
We'll go on to Jonathan and ask him, but I'm pretty sure it's Digimon.
Yeah,
Um,
obviously.
No.
What would be your favorite game of all time, John?
No, this is a weird one, and it's just because I view it as more of an experience in a game, but it's gotta be the Stanley Parable.
Oh,
I love that game so much. Like, we got recommended it in one of our classes maybe a year and a half ago,
yeah.
and I sat down and
Yeah.
tried it, and the amount of content that's just stocked up in there for every choice you make is
Yeah.
unreal.
Was
Like,
it the
I could
Stanley Parable dev we talked to, or was that Subliminal?
Superliminal.
Yeah.
Subliminal. Sorry, I got those confused.
Like, just as a quick example, for example, if you're going to one area in a game, you hop on a platform that has no safety parameters on it, and you're meant to go from point A to point B, but the game literally doesn't stop you from jumping off, and it makes fun of you when you do. It doesn't give you any safety rails. It just says, "I can't believe you jumped off. You're an idiot. Game over."
That's pretty clever. They've used and especially in our lectures. Obviously, we all attend the same course in the same university for video game design. They've used the Stanley Parable and that guy's games to show us different techniques in games and making them expand our idea of what a video game can be. I think sometimes they're the most interesting games. That's actually really. I did not expect that choice.
Yeah, neither did I. I thought you were going to say
Yeah,
Persona.
that's a really good choice. Yeah, I thought you were going to say Persona 3.
No. I haven't played it fully yet.
Well, Joe, I still say you probably put more hours than anybody ever had.
Yeah.
Connell, what about you, man?
Mine is split between Ratchet Gladiator, which I think is generally a hot take in the Ratchet and Clank community.
No,
It is.
fantastic.
It is.
It's called Deadlock over here, isn't it? Or is that in America?
Deadlock in Europe, yeah. It's Deadlock in Europe.
Which is a better name than Gladiator, let's be honest.
And secondly, a game that I platinumed last year, which is Dishonored 1.
Ooh,
It is one of my favorite
Dishonored
games of all
That's a
time.
good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
That is a quality. That is a quality, actually.
Well,
the only Dishonored I've played is one. Loved it. I definitely need to go for the platinum though.
now that you're playing
I
2, I can say with 2. I think 2 is better than 1, so I think you would love 2.
I think I've never played a game because I have 100% quite a few games. Type and all would be an example, but I've never played a game where playing one of two sides was so different. Like played Infamous. Infamous was really good. The good and evil were good. The environment for Infamous 1, for example, if you were good, the citizens liked you, but if you were bad, they would actually hit you with rocks in the street. Dishonored 1 changed the final level so much from being completely stealth to bad. It was so captivating for me, and no other game currently, to my opinion, has grasped that. And then shortly behind those two would be
would be what?
Final Fantasy X. Sorry.
Oh yes. Oh well, we've got a special episode for folks about Final Fantasy coming up in the next few months. The thing I would definitely say is, Jesus Christ, what has happened to Arcane recently? With Redfall, and I know people didn't like Deathloop that much.
Yeah.
It seems like they need to get a win, and I hope Blade is that. I think that's such a cool IP for them to tackle. Especially like if it's immersive sim, which they've been known to. I would say they're the modern day Looking Glass. Like Ken Levine's old studio with I actually don't think he owned it, but
I think Deathloop's phenomenal.
But no, that's not fair. I just said it was like
it is divisive.
Promise of the end.
It is one of those games.
Usually their games are like, this is a fantastic game. I remember the reviews come out for Dishonored 2 at the time they came out. And thank you, David Preston, for that email. So moving on to the next gamer, it's from Jimmer Dowd. Jimmer's got several questions. One, a friend of ours, Chris, will be very happy or really annoyed that he's not honest to talk to me about it, but we're going to skim over this question, really. He asked us to rate the Star Wars in order of best to worst, ratings of each reason why, if possible.
It's so many.
What I'm just going to say is, in this section, I'm just going to say it, The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie, and I'm just saying that's annoyed Chris. We'll move on to the next question.
Can we like have that
What
as a
is-
hot take episode, please?
Yeah, we're having
Yes,
a hot take.
Yeah.
There's so much I
We
want to
we
talk
will
about in that
Take
episode.
episode.
I'm pretty sure I just made Chris and Jamie cry easily. If we're going to talk about the next question he asked, is what's the first game you ever played?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah, isn't it? That's a
Yeah.
brilliant
No,
question.
I don't know. It's definitely the first, but the one I have the most memories of when I was younger was the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, on PS2, brilliant.
Yeah, because I had
Brilliant.
a friend. He would come down to my house like nearly every day, and we would just spend all day grinding that game. Like I didn't find out
Yeah.
till years and years later that we were just playing in the hard mode. Still love the game.
When I first got a
Brilliant.
PC and bought it on Steam, I remember finding out there was a multiplayer mod for it. By God, did I have about a good month of fun playing that multiplayer. It was so
I
good.
know.
What Connell was the first game you ever played?
First game I ever played is actually a weird one coming from me, given how you guys know me. It is actually Medal of Honor Rising. Sorry, it is
Really?
Medal of Honor. Yes. So I
Oh.
didn't get into games till the PlayStation 2 era. And
Well,
my
what a good time to get into it, in fairness.
Yeah, that's like a
My
big...
dad was a big World War. He's a historic nut. He should have been a history teacher.
Yeah.
He was just brilliant. He loved history in general. I took it off after him, and
Yeah.
then he decided to get me the PS2 that Christmas, and it came with the original Call of Duty and Medal of Honor. But the first one we decided to play was the Omaha Beach.
That's Rising Sun you said, sorry, didn't you?
Yeah, Rising Sun.
Yeah,
It
the
was
openings of that game,
amazing.
fantastic. I actually have some memories playing that when I was younger too on PS2 and watching other people play it, and it was a for a time too graphically that game like just blew other things out of the water. But Jonathan, what about you? What was the first game you ever played?
So in the newer times, not the old times, the console that was out when I was young was a DS.
Hell yeah.
So
DS games.
basically-
Makes sense.
a year
It was
of
never
no,
gonna
no,
make
no,
sense
no,
again.
no. Let me say. It was just Pokemon
fine.
Pearl for an entire year, and I
Oh.
only had a Machoke on my team because I didn't know you could equip other Pokemon.
Oh my god, that was
And I actually beat the game. I don't know how.
You just love challenging yourself ever since you're
But I didn't even know that I was judging myself. Like, this is a weird game.
I can't say nothing. I did a Nuzlocke on Pokemon with just Charmander, a shiny one called Charcoal and Pokemon Leaf Green, and I have it tattooed on my body. So I can't say nothing
How
about
far
having
did
one
you get?
Pokemon on a team. He died. I can't even talk about it right now, to be honest. I won't bring it up.
You definitely died to Misty.
You know what? It was too long ago. I don't know why you brought it up.
He's crying. Like, why'd you bring it up, John?
Yeah. Why'd you bring it up? Why did you let me bring it up? My first game, though, and I have such a beautiful memory with my mum playing it. My uncle, her brother, had lent her a Sega Mega Drive, and we played Sonic 2. And it's a beautiful memory until I really think back about it. And she just kept running on a Sonic, and I died as Tails, and she didn't care. She just wanted to beat the game.
That's how you play that game, though, let's be honest. Tails player always loses.
A lovely shout out to my mum. And the last question that Gamer asked is, and this one's just more about life. What's your biggest motivation in life, and what gets you through hard times? For me personally, what's get me through hard times, any time in life, is just knowing that I'm surrounded by people that love me. And I made some great friends, especially at uni. I am very blessed to have a beautiful daughter, Samantha Lily. I had to mention in the first podcast, of course. As these guys will know, any opportunity to show pictures, I will, and anybody I work
Yep.
with will know the exact same. So that is how, and just take a second to appreciate what you've got in life, because sometimes days are going to be harder than other days, and just taking a second and showing appreciation for things you have will make you feel better.
Deep.
Any of you guys got any tips for just getting through hard times in life?
I
It's-
personally like having goals to achieve to that you just dedicate to.
Yeah.
Like right now,
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been going to the gym a lot more, so I have like a goal in my head of I want to get this strong. I want to do this. And even with uni, I want to
can I-
make this game. It's more of like always having a new goal over the horizon. Treat yourself and you get
Yeah.
the goal. It's something new. It just helps you get through because you have like something to achieve every time.
And come with said too, like Connell and William have been crushing it at the gym. So they have. And Jonathan and Chris have been crushing it at rock climbing until Chris had such a serious injury that he almost retired. Feel like we had to
Busting his
mention
hand, can't go anymore.
Debilitating.
Does anybody have any other tips they want to give? Like, just feel like important to give before we move on to the next question?
I feel like for me, when I was down last year, I sort of just looked at myself and went, "Am I happy where I am? Can I do better?" And 9 times out of 10, you'll say yes. And it's making like William is 100% right. Having goals for yourself is astronomically better, even if it's simply like even a lot of psychology. Make your bed in the morning or have a clean room. Like these small things can help you
Make your
monumentally
bed
in the
every
long
day,
run.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Making your bed every morning, it just clears your head for the day, doesn't it? Like,
I watched the video of Jordan Peterson about a patient he had. A simple thing that he got to one of his patients was cleaning, like vacuuming his room. Like a small thing like that. It may seem very minuscule, but it can monumentally help you in a mind space. One small thing you can do in this time last year, I wouldn't think about going to the gym, but now times,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's good. And those were questions by Jim Drive, so thank you very much, Jim, for that. So the next one is this one I don't really want to read on the podcast, but let's do it.
Very different tone from the very deep
Uh-oh.
philosophical question we had.
Yeah, philosophical until my sister Emma has emailed into the podcast. I have two
Oh,
sisters,
no.
Ellie and Emma's emailed. She just wanted to write a list of everything Tristan has done as a child. This is all true. And we'll just go through really quickly to move these questions along. Swallowed a pound coin because he thought it was shiny.
Makes sense.
I was 9 years old. I was holding up in the airline on my bed. I dropped it. It went in my mouth. It was instant. Went down my stomach. Don't know how it happened. My mum was also 9 months pregnant at the time when she took me to the hospital.
That's why you're colorblind.
I took, as a child, I took the pill, if people know what that is, for women take. I took the pill and ate it out of my mum's drawer when I was a kid.
And you never
I
stopped
drank carpet
since.
cleaner because I thought the color. I drank carpet cleaner because I thought the color was pretty.
Hey, that's why bleach is such a big issue, to be fair.
God.
Yeah. And finally, when I was younger, I saw my mother shave her legs. I then copied her at the age of 7 with a rusty razor and a bar soap, and I still have the scar to prove it.
I
Yeah, that's the end of that one.
You know what?
All
Your
these
legs
things-
are great.
I know where the 6 out of 6 comes from.
So
buddy.
the next question I'll move on to is from. So that one was for Anna, my sister. So the next one is from Sophie McDade, and she went, "Hiya. What's your favorite book of all time?"
Oh no.
There's so many for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I'm probably the biggest reader in the group.
Yeah.
I have a book. I have a book.
I used to read a lot.
You have a book.
No, I have
a
series.
Yeah, that's good. If I was given individual books, it would definitely be one I'm planning on recommending to someone. No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah.
I love the movie. The movie's fantastic. Directed by the Coen Bros. But the book is it's like the exact same, to be honest. But there's something about reading that book that made me. It helped me a lot. I don't know how to describe it. It's not supposed to. I doubt it's supposed to be a book that helps you. But I found something in myself by reading it, and it means a lot. And also, I have to give a huge shout out to Lord of the Rings.
Obviously.
Anybody else want to throw in their picks?
I mean, do you count comic, or does it have to be like actual good old fashioned book?
Me knowing Sophie, she would mean actual book, but it could be a comic.
I have an actual book then, but yeah. You can go first, John.
Okay, so mine would be Skullduggery Pleasant. It is a series of basically. Do you remember it? Oh, I loved it in school.
It's very good.
It was basically one girl gets attacked in her uncle's house late at night, and she's saved by a detective. But the thing is, he's a skeleton pretending to be a human, and he takes her under his wing, takes her as a protege, and she learns magic with him, and is like the best 6 books you will ever read. I think it's actually more than 6 now. Like, they expanded a long time ago, bringing in new chapters and new characters. It was such an experience. That's what really got me into reading when I was younger.
Okay. William?
So mine's actually a book kind of read recently that I've been loving. No, I think it's well known that I'm a big fan of Warhammer. And it's actually a Warhammer book. called For the Emperor, which is the Caiaphas Cain book series.
Yes.
Connell, you've probably heard of these
Mentioned
books.
I have, yes.
It
They're
is,
quite substantial in lore.
but even just like the lore, the character of Caiaphas Cain. To give a quick summary, in 40k, he's like part of the human army, and he is a pretty high up position called Commissar. Everybody views this man as a war hero who's done multiple achievements that can be seen as godly or inhuman. In reality, he just fakes it and makes it up most of the time, and he actually just wants a cushy job in the backlines and hates it whenever he's seen as like the hero. But he keeps getting so lucky in the dumbest circumstance that it keeps happening, and it just spirals out of control to the point of he is the only person to save a planet, and he just wants to leave and let everybody die. He is a very fun, intriguing character. They even have a system in the book where it's pretty much narrated by. It's supposed to be he gets his diary, and somebody else is reinterpreting it. So a lot of the time he will say something about how he didn't want to be here, and then the epilogue of the Inquisitor writing it would be like, obviously he did not mean this. This is clearly just him downplaying himself. It's a very fun book and very good. Has very good emotional scenes as well. Highly recommend.
Good to know. Connell?
For me, did you ever get back when you were doing your English originally, like back in the day, they'll give you a book to sort of analyze and read. Like not GCSE
Information
level,
Man.
like well, for us it was a series called Darn Shan. It was a vampire. The whole I think the saga is called The Vampire's Assistant. But the first
Oh
book,
yeah.
the first book in the franchise is Cirque du Freak. Very good if you like vampire mythology and stuff. I ended up getting very much into reading. My mum then they would buy me the other books in the franchise. And I ended up finishing that entire series. Phenomenal. The character were writing in it was brilliant. They sort of turned it into a full loop with like a time paradox thing right at the end, and they done it really well.
Yeah.
Fantastic book franchise.
So there's a couple of books people can maybe check out if they're interested in. I
Oh,
know a couple of
cheers.
people who are 40k fans. Oh, my favorite book, I said about No Country for Old Men and stuff.
Oh
Lord of the
yeah,
Rings.
it's like what about it do you like the most? That's what I meant. Sorry.
Like the well, I'm a big Western fan, as you guys
Hmm.
know. R.I.P. to a certain username, and them guys will know what I'm on about.
Never
The
forget
best one.
Kyle. Never forget him. Never forget
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Your old favorite streamer, Cowboy Chainsaw. Yes, we'll mention him once. That's enough.
R.I.P.
Remember the
And his
goat?
mod
Uh,
artist.
so yeah, I like the war. I like the atmosphere. I like the characters are so strong. Like Cormac McCarthy, I only started reading last year. The author of the book, and I read this other book called Child of God. Didn't really like it as much. I felt like the storytelling was a bit patchy. The thing with No Country for Old Men is like it's a linear great story. You know, it's basically this guy comes across cartel shootout. He's in case of a lot of money in it. He then does his checks around and then lifts the case, and it's about serial killer trying to pursue him to get the case, and the cops pursuing that serial killer, and that's all it is about. And it's just a fantastic book. And obviously, I said about book series would be Lord of the Rings. If you haven't read Lord of the Rings, if you've just watched the movie, I know a few people out there who are like that. Read the books; they're fantastic. So going into the lot, that was from Sophie McDade, by the way, about the books.
Yeah.
Going into the last question from emails is from Adam McNally, and he just has obviously seen our social media posts and I've talked to him and stuff. He's asked, "How's the game coming along? How is Odyssey's End coming along?" We are in pre-production, moving out of pre-production development as we announced. Uh, at the moment, I think it's going really well. There's been some setbacks, but I think that we're getting ideas and concepts down really well. You know, especially with boss mechanics and boss arenas that me and Connell are talking about.
Yeah.
Connell's our level designer, and me and Jonathan discussed UI and stuff. And William is working on a pet project at the moment, so he'll join us later in
Yeah.
development and bring his skill set to us. So yeah, it's going pretty well. It's going to be going a lot more well over the next few weeks, definitely, because we're all working quite hard on it. So that brings us to the end of quandaries, quizzes, and quips. And thank you everybody so much for sending those emails, because if you didn't, we would read nothing in this section, and I would just say the name and move on. So,
you still say the name. You couldn't skip it though.
Yeah.
The name has
oh,
to be said.
absolutely would still say the name. I was so proud of it. So another name I'm proud of is one of our second last section. It is called Recommendation or Damnation, and this is where we just decided how do we feel about this person throughout this podcast. Do we feel like recommending them something or damning them where they have to complete it by the next episode, or that they just I recommend you do this by the next episode. You don't have to, no pressure. We just think this is a fun idea in order to keep us having topic of conversation in order to flow through each episode. So, does any, and you know, you don't have to, but does anybody have a recommendation or a damnation for somebody?
Recommendation.
Mm.
Who is your recommendation for, William?
Connell?
Hit me. I've already been hit with Digimon.
No,
Hit me even
I think
again.
that you said you want to play this game, but I'll definitely recommend you play it sooner. Fate Samurai Remnant. I know I'm getting you into the Fate series slowly as an
Yeah.
anime series, but that game
Chipping them away.
it's a Dynasty Warrior game, which I know you really like, and it is
I do need
one of the
something.
best.
And
think,
who got you to buy that game, William? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, some guy. Anyway, really good game.
Some guy.
Anyways.
Oh.
Took me 5 minutes to convince you to buy that game.
10 minutes of just non-stop pestering.
Yeah.
Like Devil May Cry
Well, that's only a
5. like,
recommendation, so-
playing it.
True.
So that's only a recommendation, Connell. So there's a bit of leeway there. It's up to you if you want to play it by the next episode. Obviously,
I needed I need a play by
Yeah.
stuff when I'm doing work,
you
so
need
I'll
a
probably will.
podcast game. Some people might use a game they're playing and listen to us in the background, which I really hope because I think that's a fun idea. So does anybody else have a recommendation or a damnation?
I have a recommendation
Who is it
for William.
Oh no.
So this is a game on Steam that is quite cheap and is very fun.
I'm scared.
And it's based on keeping an eye on rhythm.
Oh no.
Have you heard of a game called Everhood?
I've actually not heard of Everhood.
Never heard
Well,
of
I would highly recommend
Never
it
ever heard.
because it's a mix. It's a mix of RPG. Like like the Soul system in Undertale.
Yeah.
It's that, but it's based on a grid move system, and you have to avoid enemy attacks. And the game is real. It's got a really good story. The visuals are insane. Like it's pixelated, but they do such a good job of converting like backgrounds and characters.
Yeah.
So I would recommend you play that. Even a few hours of it is really good.
I'll grab it.
I think I'll damn Johnny here. I think I'll damn Johnny
Oh,
here.
Wow.
Hit me with Digimon. Hit me with Digimon. Now, you like Persona.
Oh no.
I do like Persona.
You have 100% at Persona 5 Royal, correct?
I have done that, yes.
So let's bring you back to the roots of the franchise. I want you to play Shinigami Tensei.
Oh my
Which
God.
Oh no.
Not
Three?
Three.
Yes.
Poor guy.
Why am I hearing, oh my god, is this not a fun
But-
game?
Because you're gonna put it on hard mode like an idiot.
No, that may or
No.
may not be true.
So,
I know it's a very fun game, but it's just really
Yeah.
hard, Jonathan.
yeah.
Does he have to beat it by next episode?
Yes.
That's
Oh
a
my
week!
God, man.
Wait, no, it's a month.
I can't wait for the next skill issue.
It'll
be
be
recording next episode in a
it'll
few
March time. It's March time.
No.
but
You
It's
know
March time.
exactly what the next skill issue is going towards. You know exactly
Yeah,
what
so I
yeah.
can't wait for this to be
Yeah.
one of them.
That's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
I'll go with a healthy
follow me
mindset.
anyway. I have a recommendation for you all.
Ooh.
Hit me.
Okay, ooh.
I recommend you all just read No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation, just being nice. I feel like I got brutalized in this too. So with that fucking stupid Digimon shit.
Yeah. Well, 3 months is a
Yeah,
long
Wait,
time.
no, don't be fair. You still have Metal Gear Survive as an option.
I'm okay. That brings us
Don't take the
now
blue pill, take that red pill.
to our very last section. So that brings us to the very last section of the podcast. And this is a very small section, and it's mainly for the audience, and they can leave a comment below for their answer. So this is called New Account Who This. Now,
Oh god.
I have a sickness,
Yeah.
and I'll be the first to admit it.
Yep.
I have made so many PlayStation accounts.
Yeah.
So many. There's so many PlayStation accounts. And for those who don't know, a PlayStation account is just basically your username on PlayStation 4 or 5 or 3, whatever you're playing on. This is a running, I would say, not even a joke. It's just a constant thing I do,
It's a
and I'm
problem.
trying to stop. I'm
We're
trying
trying to
quit my
help you,
habit.
but we can't.
But on
You
the
won't seek
positive
therapy
side, we
for
can spin my illness into a fun game for people to play in the comments.
Yeah.
I profited from it.
Yeah, so have I.
So new
So.
account, yeah, you have new account to this is basically I'm going to give 2 usernames, and I want the audience to then tell me which one they think is the real one, and then we'll reveal it on the next episode. So for all of this, the first username I'm going to give is Tanuki Judge. The second one is called Dragoon Oni. So, but once again, that is Tanuki Judge and Dragoon Oni. Leave a comment below of which one you think it is.
You always have a level edge to your names.
Yeah, well, depends which one's real.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. You never know.
Even both names are just edgy in their own way.
So,
Fair.
guys, that is bringing us to the end of the podcast. We have actually think we've had a great time doing it, and I want to just shout out our socials of this studio. Would all be down below. We will have the next episode be filming pretty soon, just in order to get these on track, and we're trying to aim for the first of every month, 1 episode a month, and then we'll have bonus episodes sprinkled in between. Does anybody want to plug any work or anything they want to talk about, or just general social stuff? Like for me, my Twitter would be at Dev Newberg T. And yeah, just if anyone wants to plug anything before we go.
I'm fine, thank you.
I am not social in the slightest. I'll just
Yeah.
refuse that one.
We're all gamers. No one expects us to be social.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah, and I just want to say final words. Remember to laugh at yourself. Life can get pretty hard sometimes, and I really hope that this podcast is just a way for people to cut loose. I know it definitely is for us. This is more group therapy than anything else.
True.
And we laugh at ourselves constantly on this.
True.
So everybody have a great day, and talk to you later.